Welcome everybody to Mad Mark's podcast. This would be the WrestleMania pre-funk, I guess. It's been a minute. We've had some issues. I just got a surgery, so I apologize to all you folks. I am super high on fucking painkillers right now because I literally just got my ACL replaced like 2 days ago. So today is supposed to be the worst, and the pain's not too bad, but it's just being immobile that's really fucking pissing me off. But yeah, man. So fuck, I don't know. I feel like it's been a really lackluster Mania season, aside from the whole Cody. Where the fuck's Cody gonna be bullshit? You know?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing other than even Brock and Roman really hasn't been. I mean, it's the driving force.
Yeah, it's
for
been
the
a
whole
pretty
event,
good
but
build if you actually watch it. Like, it's not bad, but the one thing I've gathered is I watched my fucking first full episode of Raw front to back.
Wow, I guess you got nothing else better to do, right?
Yeah, fuck. In quite a while on Monday, and there's just a totally different vibe for Raw and for WWE right now in general. It just doesn't even feel like wrestling. I don't know. It's just hard to explain. And I don't know if anybody listening on here wants to give me any feedback on whether or not they feel the same way, but it just doesn't feel like wrestling. I don't know, kind of, but it's just so, I don't know, man. It's really hard. It's really hard to explain. It's really bizarre.
Yeah, I guess I gotta start watching again as opposed to just reading the results.
It's definitely a new era. You should try to watch one just to give me feedback on whether or not.
What do you think they're going for with this era? I mean, we never really knew what the eras were
until, if you want me to be honest,
after they were done.
This is what I think, man, and I think it might keep them alive. And it might keep them relevant, even though us old school wrestling fans bitch so much about it. I think the reason they're still packing seats and getting fairly good views and shit like that, and they definitely don't appear to be losing any money.
There's other reasons why they're doing so well financially. But
it's because
I get what you're saying.
But because they're adapting to this new culture of, I don't know, kids are just different, way different these days. I mean, you hear that every generation, you hear that like, oh, this generation is different. But I really feel like with technology, we're really seeing what technology is doing to the youth of our country right now and the world. Because I mean, WWE is a worldwide company, and I feel like there's things that people like us just don't get that other people do. Like the the Logan Pauls of the world, and I don't know, just how they do shit and how they're filming things too. It's almost, I don't know. It's hard to explain. It's just I don't think it's meant for us to get, man. I think that's why
AEW they're phasing us out.
Pretty much, that's kind of what I feel like, man. I feel like it's not meant for us to get, and I feel like if a kid like Landon, didn't have a dad that introduced him to good wrestling, he might get into it a little bit more,
right?
Like
I say, he talks more shit about WWE than I do.
yeah, but I mean, it's because we've been taking. I mean, you've been taking him to shows since he was little. We've been pumping
right
full of this shit since he was young. So he's kind of a wrestling snob because of you.
Yeah, right. Or he's wrestling biased. We'll put it that way. I wouldn't say snob, but he's biased. The kid likes all sorts of shit that I like. So I mean, that's kind of what I hope to instill in him.
But yeah, I mean, I just think I touched on this a lot last time. I really think that the WWE is just a different product, and it's just going in a totally different direction. And to be honest,
is it Gen Z wrestling? Like, I mean, is that what they're? Because like the wrestlers are not Gen Z. I mean, who might be the only Gen Z wrestler on their roster? Like
I don't know. I mean,
Austin Theory.
Well,
that
look,
might be about it.
I mean, like the fucking Matt Riddles of the roster, you know, those are the guys that are like really
So those are
speaking.
right. I was gonna say, but those guys are like the other half of millennials. You know what I mean?
I
Like
get
we're
it.
on the
Yeah,
one
yeah.
side, they're on the other side.
I get it, but they're the kind that's kind of like that the younger crowd's getting into, you know, because
Right.
they're. I mean, he doesn't do shit for me. He's annoying, but the kids love
Yeah,
him. You
I
know,
totally agree.
kids fucking love him. You know, but he's moving merch. You know,
Right, right.
but yeah, I don't know. I just feel like it. I feel like that type of wrestling isn't for people like us anymore. You know,
Yeah.
the thing I mean, I'm loving Brock right now, man, and I know that everybody's got their personal.
The happy cowboy rock
Oh,
or
he's
rock
fucking hilarious, man. And
that
who would have thought that he could talk, you know? And you're seeing a
or that he
side of
had a
him.
personality.
Yeah, you're seeing a side of him that you never saw before, and it's probably the most genius thing they're doing right now. And same with Roman.
So
They're
do
giving
you
Roman.
remember? Go ahead. You finish.
They're giving Roman finally what he needed this whole time, and that was basically to just be himself. You know, all those years they were trying to make him be what they wanted, and they were just making everybody hate him. And now that they've kind of taken the reins off of him, if you will, I feel like
Pun
he's really succeeding, you know. And it kind of sucks because there's still good shit in WWE, but it gets buried by 2.5 hours of bad shit, you know, or shit that we don't like, you know. And
right.
I'm trying to look at everything as just a wrestling fan, you know, just for a while, you know. But I mean, it's just hard for me to really enjoy it. Like, fuck,
right.
man. I don't know. I didn't even see
you know,
great match.
Right. No, I totally get what you're saying. But I sit here thinking, you know, sometimes, and I was thinking about this the other day, that truly how many WWE fans, like diehard WWE fans, go to indie wrestling shows?
They don't, man. And I'll tell you, it's funny because let's talk about that guy again. So
the guy at the gym.
The saga continues, and I'm gonna make this dude my fucking project. I'm gonna make him my fucking project. So, anyways, the saga continues with this guy. I got a chance to talk to him a little bit more, but every time I get a chance to talk to him, he's either doing something because he works there, or I'm doing something because I'm working out, or like this time I was communicating with the other staff. But I'm pretty sure that I'm after talking to him this time, I'm pretty sure they get some kind of kick down for like hiring special needs people. And that's not, it's not being Oregon. Rude. That's not being rude. It's being
Oregon
real.
Oregon does a great job with, you know, handicaps and this and that.
And you can't tell, I mean, and you can't really tell just by looking at him, but there is a little bit of
there's something off or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. He's either autistic or something, because he's got a bit of issues. Because and this is what really proved it to me. I had my suspicions after a minute. You need to hit pause?
No, you're fine.
Okay.
I just told her to text me.
But so I was at the counter and I was asking for my receipts because I get reimbursed for my gym memberships through work.
Oh, okay.
I hadn't done that for a while. So I was like, hey, can you print my last 3 receipts off so I can get my money from work? And he was like, hey, I remember you. You're the guy that asked me about wrestling, right? I was like, yeah, man, that's me. So I'm talking to him, and then he like introduces himself, and he had a really unique name. I can't remember what it was, but I shook his hand. I shook his hand. It was Vahir or whatever. No, just but I was like, I shook his hand, I was really polite, but I was talking. Oh my God. So I'm gonna go on a tangent here. The girl I was talking
I'm waiting.
The girl I was talking to is possibly like the fucking prettiest girl I've ever fucking seen in my life too. So like I'm super distracted by her. Like she's so fucking hot. She's a Hispanic chick with this big old fucking booty. And
there you go.
Dude, man, and I don't know what it is about fucking Hispanic chicks lately, but they're really like kind of my
They're
cup of tea.
they're catching your eye.
Yeah, and kind of just like an old dirty pervert way. Like I know I don't have a shot at it at all, so like I don't try to run any game or anything, you know. But
Right, but you're
God
like,
damn,
hey, I like your
this girl is
rear end there.
beautiful. This girl's so fucking beautiful, and on top of that too, she's like really sweet. Like I see her like. I see her going around like fucking giving the old men physical therapy and shit, you know, and
Well,
like
there you go.
so she's super, super nice. But I'm talking to her and I'm fucking talking to this guy. But anyways, I'm like, hey, do you ever watch AEW? And he's like, no. Just like stern. I was like, oh, okay. And I was like, so then I keep talking to her, and then he's like, yeah, I don't watch AEW at all. Just really sternly. And I was like, okay. And that was like about where it stopped. But like, I'm gonna try to convince him to watch AEW. Like, that's my thing. Is like I want to be like, hey, like fucking I want to get him to think outside of his wrestling box a bit, you know?
Right.
So
I guess the next question is, have you ever been to any indie shows that have come out your
that's
guys'
well,
direction?
yeah, because the Prestige, that's gonna be my next one, is because Prestige is up there. Would you ever go to those? That's exactly my next in. Is because I want to do that, you know, and be like, dude, you should check out some indie shows, man. If they're really fun, they're cheap, you know, and if you like wrestling, they're really cool, different experience, you know.
So but, I was gonna say a while back, I brought that up in one of the dirt sheet forums, being like, man, it doesn't seem like a lot of you guys even, you know, like know who these independent wrestlers are. Like you guys don't even go to indie shows, do you? And like the amount of hate that I got for even mentioning going to indie wrestling shows was just like, just over the fucking top. And it was like, that's the problem is they're so tunnel vision when you know WWE beat everybody in 2001 or whatever when they bought out WCW. It was like, yes, the end all be all, and like this is the only thing we live and breathe now. Any alternative is not wrestling.
Well, if you think about it, when we were kids, we would have been stoked. I mean, I used to go to Portland Wrestling with my uncle, and by the time I went to Portland Wrestling, it was like the dying breath of Portland Wrestling.
Right.
Like it was bad, but I loved every fucking second of it, man. Like, I loved it, dude. So, but I was gonna say, when we were kids, I feel like independent wrestling right now is at a fucking all-time great, man, because the standards of doing it are so high and so many people want to do it. Like it's honestly, it's with all the bullshit that's going on in the big companies, there's so much fucking good shit on a lower level.
Oh yeah, most
like
definitely.
For some reason, the indie level shit, they're just held to so much higher standards than they used to be. You know, it used to be like guys in sweatpants that look like us going at it at indie shit.
Yeah, right.
You know,
so pants and a wife beater.
Yeah, and there was never really any storylines, you know, unless you came like every week and you kind of
exactly
it was good or bad, you know. But yeah, it I don't know. It's a good time to be a wrestling fan. I think
it's a fantastic time to be a wrestling fan.
John Cena had a great quote, and he said something like, they asked him what he thought about AEW, and he was like, fuck, I love AEW because it holds everybody to like knowing that there's another company out there that can do it holds everybody to the higher standards. And that's good for the business in general. It's good for the guys that are in the indie business that
I think I saw that
I can't remember how I put it, but it was a really elegant way that only Cena.
He also said he doesn't watch AEW, but he loves their existence or whatever.
Oh, did he say that?
Yeah.
He probably doesn't have time.
He says I don't watch them, but I love that they exist because then it makes everybody be better.
I bet he follows them on fucking like the storylines online when he's like flying.
Maybe, or if he sees anything on social media, if he follows.
I doubt he watches
anybody.
WWE. To be honest,
I don't think he does either. I think he's busy doing his own thing, and when he comes across wrestling shit, he comes across wrestling shit, and he knows things exist. But I think that's about it.
You think they should let him come back for another run to beat Flair's record?
If they're going to make him be there for an extended amount of time or sign him for an extended amount of time, I don't want to see him come in for a month and you know, I'm going to start a thing, you know, like the Goldberg thing. Like I hate that so fucking much. Bring in the old talent, for a month to come in and do their thing, and then they're gone. Like that was my original concern with Edge when he came back last year at the Royal Rumble or whatever. It's like, okay, so he's here for Royal Rumble, he's gonna fucking win it, and then he's gonna challenge whoever for the WWE title, and then he'll lose it a month later, and then he'll disappear. But the fact that he stuck around has been like, oh, okay, like I'm cool with that, you know. Like,
yeah, Edge doesn't quite have the clout.
The one-offs,
you know, he doesn't
like
quite
the
have as
one-off
much
stuff
going
is
for him.
stupid.
Dude, Cena's totally doing a Rock move. He's blowing up, man. He's gonna end up like the Rock, you know. I think.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
And I think he earned it, man.
He's fucking hilarious. Like, yeah, I don't know how many movies you've seen with.
Oh
with him
yeah, dude, I love John
fucking
Cena.
riot.
Yeah, he's good.
Peacemaker was a perfect example how fucking entertaining he was.
I actually haven't seen that, but like in Daddy's Home, and then
you haven't watched Peacemaker, the series on HBO Max yet? Dude,
no.
doesn't even matter if you know who the fucking character is. Just the antics that go on during this 8-episode run or whatever, and just the outrageous shit that comes out of his mouth is just, it's fucking great.
I'll have to watch it, dude. I don't have HBO.
Yeah, no, dude. If I was like, if we could hide your IP, I'd be like, you just sign in for me, so they don't come after me and be like, you're letting somebody 4 hours away from you use your shit. need a VPN.
I'm surprised they care. Like Netflix lets you just do whatever, you know.
I thought they cracked down and you can only like be signed in on like 6 devices or some shit like that.
I don't know. Me and Claire have fucking been 50 miles away for 4 months and we never have any issues.
Yeah.
But he was good in that. What was that fucking movie? He was in a movie, a Judd Apatow movie where he played
like Trainwreck or not.
No, that one.
Wrecked? No,
not that one. But he was in that one too with Amy Schumer. But he's in another one with Leslie Mann where he's like his daughter's like getting ready to go off to college. It's about a bunch of
yeah. And then when he butt chugs the fucking beer.
Yeah. Oh my fucking god, that was good too. Yeah, he's been in a lot of good shit, man. He's so fucking funny. But I honestly kind of want to because Ric Flair's a piece of shit. And I fucking think that he's overrated as fuck and his contributions to the wrestling world are almost getting to the point where they're outweighed by shitty things that he's done. You know, like everybody's got a lot of respect for him, but like, I don't know. I'm a Foley guy, and I really don't like how the fuck he talks to Foley anytime he chance he gets in a public forum. You know, I think he's a rude fucking piece of shit that's high on his own bean farts. And
right,
John Cena's, even though everybody, you know, fucking hates him because he's always the baby face, he's done so many fucking great things for so many people.
You know, I'm to that point where his last go around when he did his thing with Bray, where I was like, I don't really want to see the white meat babyface John Cena, but I was like, I think now I'd be okay if he came back for, you know, if he came back for a 6-month run, got the world title, and then lost it to whomever, and then rode off in the sunset. I'd be cool with that. 100% would be cool with that.
Yeah, I think he deserves to break it just by everything he's done. You know, signing, just the amount of Make-A-Wish shit that he's done, like how many little kids' lives that he's like made. Like, guy's never been a bad person to, you know. He's like not like the Ultimate Warrior or Hulk Hogan, who are like terrible fucking human beings underneath everything, you know. Cena's definitely secured his spot as one of the greatest, as much as everybody likes to shit on him, you know.
Is he a Mount Rushmore though?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think he should be. I think a lot of people would deny him because he's kind of, everybody wants to hold on to that glory days of wrestling. You know, everybody like, well, let's put Austin on there. Let's put Flair on there. Let's put Hogan on there, Andre on there, you know, but I think Cena's every bit as relevant as any of those guys, you know, and I think he loves, and he loves the business just as much as all those guys. And I think that's important too. You know, it's not like he's a Rock. I mean, Rock was brought into it the same way, but he was also brought in through family. So like a lot of those Samoans are just like, oh fuck, I guess like football career's fucked now. I guess I'll just go wrestle, like fucking
go be a wrestler. Yeah,
exactly. So like, but John Cena, like he doesn't have any ties to it, man. He just loved it, just like Flair, just like Hogan, you know, and just like all those guys, they Foley, you know,
I was gonna say if. You know, I was just thinking about that right now, the Mount Rushmore thing. Like, I think my Mount Rushmore has nothing to do with wrestling, if that makes sense. I think it's what they've done to, you know, to expose themselves outside the business, or that they brought people in. Like my Mount Rushmore is Hogan, Andre, Rocky, and Cena, because how much they did outside of the ring and then also inside the ring.
Mhm. Yeah, I think
And I think people can argue mine, because but this is just my
I never
way I interpret it.
I never thought of it that way, but that might be mine too. I mean, that would be mine in a big picture, but I think my
Right.
personal one would be like Austin, Foley, probably Dusty Rhodes, maybe, trying to think of guys that I just love, and fuck, I don't know. On a personal level, Playboy Buddy Rose too, but I don't know. But yeah, I mean, in the big picture of things, the big picture of things, you're probably right. I mean, that would nail it. So you got, Andre kind of paved the way for Hogan to do the same thing,
Oh yeah, I mean, him being the giant of a human that he was, and he was very like sought after for for certain onesie twosie roles. Like I want to say, Princess Bride was, I can't remember what year that came out, but that was kind of the one that like opened the door. Like, oh, we can do some of these.
Well, he was doing stuff before that on
stuff.
like TV shows,
right? No, on TV, and stuff. But I think that was the big, thing that like everybody knows who Andre the Giant is, even if you don't know who Andre the Giant is. Like who Andre the Giant is, kind of thing. Mm-hmm. Because Princess Bride, even though it's the corny ass movie, it's it's a cult classic, and people adore that shit. Like hell, we have a bride's whatever the hell the name of the movie is, Princess Bride board game that we played recently, where Andre is one of the little figures.
Yeah, I mean, and he, in the eyes that he brought to the sport in general, too,
yeah,
and like you said, that's what it's. I mean, I got a lot to do with it, because when that happens and those guys go out there and do that, it brings more eyes into the sport.
Exactly.
And you're probably correct on that aspect. I mean, the true wrestling fans will probably definitely put Flair on the Mount Rushmore.
Right.
And as much as everybody hates him, I don't think anybody can deny putting Hogan on the Mount Rushmore.
I totally agree. He brought wrestling into the mainstream.
Another one that would be on my personal one would probably be Taker. Just because he's fucking Taker,
Right. And I get
probably
that.
Be like Taker, Foley. This is my personal one. Taker, Foley, fucking, and Triple H even maybe, because I'm a Triple H guy too, man. I love Triple H.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Everybody fucking likes to shit on Triple H, but just as a kid, and I'm thinking that's the Mount Rushmore of like me as a fan, as a kid talking. Those are the guys that love as kids. So, but I loved Triple H as a kid, man. And I guess we talk a little bit about Triple H retiring, man.
Yeah, we touch base on that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess like I feel like, I don't know, a lot of people like to shit on Triple H, but I think that what he did in NXT was amazing. I think that
what are they shitting on him for though?
Well, a lot of people because I think most people like to shit on him about burying old talent like Scott Steiner or like who else was a big one? Oh, the fucking Undertaker thing. Like everybody was pissed that but he actually put Taker over, but everybody was kind of like, oh, here's the natural thing. It's Shawn. Now fucking Hunter's got to fucking ride Shawn's coattails. That's another thing. Everybody was like always accusing him of like riding Shawn's coattails, And if you want me to be honest, I don't know if Shawn Michaels would have lasted in the business as long as he did if he didn't have Hunter there.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Because Hunter moved his way into, well, that, and there's rumors that Vince McMahon literally had a crush on Shawn Michaels. There's like rumors about that they had a real weird relationship. But and I don't know if that's true or just bullshit, but I don't know. Have you heard any of those old stories?
No, I've never heard that.
They're around. You should Google them. Yeah, there's rumors that there's some real weird relationship because
that's weird. I mean, those guys both, even though Shawn's character was flamboyant, I thought both those dudes always screamed masculinity and like I'm an alpha male.
Well, I think a lot of it I don't know, man.
I guess I wouldn't consider two homosexual alphas to like have a secret relationship.
But
is
I
in
don't
my
know,
head.
man.
That's
Look
like,
at that Aaron Hernandez shit, man. The Aaron Hernandez
yeah.
shit. That shit happens all the time. Like, and you've been in a locker room, man. There's so much
Oh no,
homoerotic
oh,
shit going on there.
I mean, locker room, the military, all that stuff. We're some of the gayest places on the planet are are, are athletic
Yeah,
locker
you
rooms and
find out who's
freaking
real straight in those fucking
yeah,
places.
exactly.
Yeah, without a
Did I say
fucking
heterosexual? I
doubt.
meant homosexual, but whatever.
Yeah, yeah. But you find out real quick who's straight in there and who's a little off.
Or who's at least comfortable to like make a joke and like not get all weirded out by it and stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, there's some of those rumors, but I think like because I guess like here's what it came down to is like a lot of the old stories that go around of just like Sean being such a nightmare. Like Vince McMahon would not have like put up with anybody like that. So it's like their relationship's really weird because nobody could really understand why. But I guess there was a
he
lot of
making a
like
fuck ton of money?
not like I mean there was other guys that could have made just as much. I think at that time like Austin and Rock
Could have made, but we're not making though.
Nah, I think Austin.
Could have is always tough to say because
I don't know.
it's like
I think I'll put money on it that Austin and Rock made just as much money as HBK. I think they were just as big a draws.
but not in that time frame though.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you might be right. Like he kind of was the gap between the big attitude era and I mean he probably did help keep the fucking company alive when the early days of the Monday Night War when WCW was just thumping the shit out of WWE.
When Diesel was his bodyguard or whatever those
and you're probably fair there, but look at it this way:
left.
a lot of the stuff that Sean was doing was like it was all through that time. It wasn't just in the early days. It was all through that fucking time when he was just high as fuck on pain meds all the time and getting drunk and being stupid, fucking missing shows because he picked fights in bars and got his ass kicked. How shitty does that look? You're supposed to be a big wrestler. Fucking nobody's supposed to be able to beat you. And then you're getting your fucking face fucking adjusted in bars for running your mouth to Marines. It's like,
but he's not a very large man. I mean, he's always been billed what, like 6 foot 225. Like
yeah, but he's
probably more like 5'10",
yeah, but
205.
It's still, man, it's supposed to be his job to look like
yeah.
And that's a big deal. You don't go out and run your fucking mouth and fucking get in those situations. That was a big time back in kayfabe days. I mean,
yeah, I was gonna say, scripted fighting isn't the same as real fighting. You know what I mean? So even if somebody goes out and runs their mouth because they're HBK and they're a well-known big bad wrestler, be like, if you can't fucking throw a punch or take a punch, be like, you kind of earned it.
yeah. But I mean, he fucking I don't know. I think that regardless of if he was making McMahon money or not, he fucking
I mean, that's my only thought of like why they would have had such a weird relationship.
Well,
like
Bret Hart was making him a lot of money too, and he fucking fucked Bret Hart over for Shawn Michaels.
Yeah, right. Was he just constantly kissing Vince's ass, but then he was being a pain in the ass?
Well, and this is a part I haven't really got to get out of my mouth yet. Is I guess there was like a lot of like one-on-one time with those two back in the day. That. And there was a lot of
that could have been politicking more than
It could have been, but there wasn't a lot of other people that had that, and still haven't to this day.
That have that. I can just walk into Vince's office and blah 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 blah. Yeah.
Well, I guess like Sean could get away with other shit that like other wrestlers couldn't too, just by being a disrespectful dick to Vince. Like just being a mouthy little fucking cocksucker, and Vince would just like take it on the chin,
Yeah,
And I'm not saying one way or the other. Maybe they just had a special relationship, where they worked well that way for some reason, like.
And it both clicked for both of them or whatever.
Well, and I know how it works, being in a. I don't want to pull this card out. Being the boss, no, I mean, but like. There are certain when you're the head of anything and you've got people working for you, or you're even just like one spot below, you know, like me and my boss talk to each other like fucking, we don't talk to other staff, you know.
Old buddies or whatever.
Yeah. And so it can happen. I still got, you know, since I came up from the floor too, I got old staff members that I talk to a little different than I do new ones.
Yeah, for sure. So there just must have been something. I mean, like I said, there could have been some, you know, some physical stuff behind closed doors, or it could have just been like they just had something clicked there at the beginning, and they just like fed off of each other, and they just had a great relationship. But either way, it is what it is.
And he was making a lot of money. He was getting those female to buy the shirts and shit, you know. And
right.
But
I'm just trying to think in those early, like 94 to 96 or whatever, you know, those days of WWF at the time. You know, whose merch did you always see on TV? You saw Sean's, you saw Brett's,
Takers.
You didn't see that much Taker merch though. Even, you
there
know,
was usually some. What else was there though? I mean, if it was that time frame, you might see a bit of Piper's around still.
Yeah, there might have still been his.
Let me think.
Yeah,
Diesel.
I mean, like
Diesel and Razor.
Yeah, I mean, Diesel and Razor. Yeah, there would have been their gear, but I mean, but it wasn't. You know, in my head right now, trying to recall the roster during that time frame, like it wasn't anybody that you're like, oh yeah, that guy was killing it in merch outside of, you know, 2 or 3 guys or whatever.
Well, even then, I don't think WCW really started giving them like a good run for their money until about 95, 96. So even
no. Yeah, I totally get that. But I'm just
there's a big dead spot where wrestling was kind of rebuilding anyways, you know.
And that's when Sean was doing a lot of his, you know, world title runs were during that.
Yeah, I don't think so though, man. I think Sean's first big title run came in 96.
Really? Was it that late? I was thinking, I don't know why I was thinking it was like
his first big one, I think. I'd have to
94, 95.
No, you might be right. No, you're right. You're right. Because he had his first title run came when he had Diesel, I think, as his bodyguard.
Right.
But I
just don't remember what that time frame is.
It was probably 94, 95. You're probably right.
I'm going to look it up right now.
There wasn't a lot of the competition for him there then, though, you know.
Yeah, no doubt. Come on, give me years. That's what I'm looking for, is flipping years. Won a lot of stuff. I didn't realize you disappeared.
Yeah, I did for a second, man. I'm not sure if it's because you're looking at shit or what, but yeah, I don't know, man. It was I mean, I was a wrestling fan forever too, man. Like from the 80s on, dude. Like so I watched like the early shitty days of Raw. My mom used to tape it for me because it was on too late at night.
Right.
So I'd get to watch it Tuesday, and we used the same tape. It was in our VCR all the time, unless we were watching something else, and it was set to record. So like, and then I got a little older, and she started letting me watch it, and then it was cool because it would be like Fresh Prince of Bel-Air was on that night, and then something else. So I'd get to watch those two things, and we turned it to USA. I'd watch an hour of wrestling. I remember being stoked when it went to 2 hours, because then that's when more of the storylines happen.
Right.
Speaking of that, man, Scott Hall dying, man, that's pretty sad. And speaking of storylines being brought into Raw, I think the first real big one was with Scott Hall and the 1-2-3 Kid. Were you watching wrestling that time?
Say that again.
Scott Hall and the 1-2-3 Kid, which would have been.
I was not watching regularly at that time, but I've obviously seen that match.
That was, I think, where they really first started building stories, because a lot of it was like recaps of other shit, or like real gimmicky shit. Like you'd see Doink the Clown coming in fucking with people, or like there's a couple ones, like they started a program with Crush, and they started a program with Crush and Savage at that time, where Crush came back as a heel. And Crush is Oregon. Well, he's actually from Hawaii, but he built his career in Oregon. Brian Allen.
Right.
And he threw Randy Savage on the fucking guardrail and made him bite the tip of his tongue off. And then that was funny because Bobby Heenan was on commentary with Savage at that time and was just ruthless, like saying he was getting fake tongues buying out. Oh, Randy's not here today because he's out buying fake tongues at yard sales. So it's just fucking ruthless. Some of that shit was really cool, but a lot of people didn't get to see it because it was back when they were like watching like little like when it was like back when they were still like playing little houses and kind of rebuilding, you know.
Right.
Like they were probably fucking at that point in time, they're probably doing houses the size of ECW, you know.
Right.
And USA was probably what saved their ass, having that TV time. That but there's that one. The 1-2-3 Kid one was a big one for
I'm gonna interrupt you real quick. So Sean, I was wrong. So Sean's first world title was in 96.
Was it?
Yeah, it was 96.
Oh, well, I was wrong too because I thought so fucking when the fuck did I thought the NWO started in 96.
No, the NWO started in, I want to say 97, I think. Let me double check.
Weird how slow time went by back then.
Right.
When was Kevin Nash's run as the world champion?
In WWE or WWF?
Yeah, in WWE. Yeah, WWE.
Oh, what the fuck? Why is this thing got to be broken as soon as I try and open it? Sorry, the link I was trying to look at it was broken. So NWO was created on May 27, 1996.
So maybe Sean was Intercontinental Champion at that time, and Diesel was like his bodyguard.
No, because Diesel would have came over the same day that it was essentially created with Hogan. So Sean was Intercontinental Champ. I just had it up a second ago.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. But he must have been his bodyguard as Intercontinental Champion.
So I was gonna say Sean held the tag title with Diesel in 95. He had the Intercontinental match with Razor in 95.
That was the year he lost his smile, right? Or was that later?
And then he also, yeah, right. And I think that is. And he also held the world tag title with Diesel again in 94. So yeah, Diesel's run, Kevin Nash, whatever the hell you want to call him, had to have been obviously sometime in 94, 95, somewhere in that time frame, or right before they jumped ship.
That's weird to me because I thought he was his bodyguard. But I know that he
at least 94 to 95, he was his bodyguard / tag partner.
Okay. Huh. And then I wonder, so Diesel must have got the championship before Sean did. And now that I recall, I think
Sean got it 96. Let me look it up. Anyways, keep talking. I'm listening.
Now that I recall, I think I might actually recall Kevin Nash telling the story about how he had to break the news to Sean that he was getting the belt.
Uh-huh.
So maybe he did. But it's weird to me because I thought that whole fucking thing worked out differently than it did.
Uh-huh.
God damn it. Because I kind of thought Diesel took the belt from Sean the first time.
Uh-huh. I don't remember who he wrestled. So Diesel.
He won it from Sid the first time? Or Backlund. He won it from Bob Backlund.
Is that who it was?
Big deal. Yeah, it was a big deal. And people were pissed because he won it from Bob Backlund in like fucking 30 seconds.
In 95, yeah. Yeah, 1995 is when it was.
And that was at a fucking house show, I think.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, what the fuck? No wonder they weren't getting any ratings. They had Bob Backlund in 95 as their fucking champion.
Right. He wrestled, I was going to say, Diesel wrestled Sean at WrestleMania 11, where he retained the title. So they had a little feud. The next night, Sid turned on Michaels after hitting him with the power bomb. And then caused Sean to get injured. And Diesel came out to make the save. So That's weird. So they wrestled at WrestleMania, and then the Monday after Mania.
That was their way of turning Sean
These-
babyface again, probably.
Yeah, right.
There might have been something at the end of that where Sean shook Diesel's hand or some shit.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, I don't know, man. That all played out a lot different than I thought. I'm gonna have to like look at all that. But anyways, man, Scott Hall, what was your? Let me ask you, like, what are some of your favorite moments aside from just the takeover? That were some of your favorite Scott Hall moments?
Um,
Am I putting you on the spot too?
no, not really. I'm trying to think of like legit moments other than just I was a huge NWO fan, and then like the NWO Red and Black when he changed. And no, was he Red and Black? Did he ever go Red and
He
Black?
was, but he came later. I think he was out with an injury when that happened.
Yeah, something like that.
Because Nash and
Just
Sting. I don't know. Nash
right.
started with Red and Black.
Yeah. I was gonna say I don't really have any specific moments other than stuff that he did with the NWO. Like I was never a huge Razor fan. Like Razor was cool and all, but he just didn't do anything for me. It was
Yeah.
Ayo, and his curly little hair coming out there.
Yeah, he was just such a good heel, man. That's what I
No, he was great, but he just he was one of those guys because he never won the world title, but he just never really stuck for me. Like I have nothing bad, nor do I have anything good to say. As horrible as that sounds.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? Like Piper never won the title either.
Right.
I think there's a few guys that are special like that never won the title. That I think I think Piper won the title in WCW. I think, but he never won it in WWE. But
yeah.
And then I don't know that his title reign was just so weird because he was injured and old,
Right, exactly.
He was a face. And I just never really liked Piper as a face very much. There were some moments I really dug. The Goldust feud, he was a face, and I liked that. But
the Goldust stuff was at WrestleMania 9, that street fight. That shit was that was very entertaining.
Yeah,
back in its day.
Yeah, Piper, man, he was great. So is Razor, man. But I think that's one of the things that I appreciate about him most is just the fact that he was one of the guys to start bringing storylines to that little hour block, which ended up kind of kicking everything off and getting people's fucking juices flowing a bit to it. Right. I think because when you just turn it on, it's a couple gimmicky guys bouncing around. You're pretty fucking unentertained because wrestling wasn't really like all that fucking entertaining back then. It was just wasn't a lot of lucha or shit. It was just fucking, I don't know. You could kind of tell it was just cheesy,
Right.
You guys like Damien Demento and Doink the Clown. And I think Razor, even though he was kind of a gimmick, he kind of fucking saved that and kind of was one of the original guys to kick that down. Because that war with the 1-2-3 Kid was great because he just played it so well where he kept getting beat by Sean Waltman and fucking then he would fucking just beat that fucking kid. And it was realistic too. And that's kind of what I miss. And this is probably just bound to happen because the longer you fake fight, the more shit you run at it, the more shit you have to do to convince people it's real, I guess,
Right.
But I mean, like, back then you watch him do the Razor's Edge on the concrete, you'd be like, oh fuck, now that happens like 8 times on Dynamite, a week.
But I still say oh fuck every single time somebody hits hard ground.
That's because man, there's that possibility. It's always the things that you don't expect that are gonna fuck somebody up, man.
Right.
Like look at that time that fucking Seth Rollins was out for a year because his fucking blew his fucking shit.
When he did that sunset flip power bomb
at a house
show or whatever it was. Yeah.
Just landed wrong.
Yeah.
And But yeah, man, I guess that happened. Why we talked because last time he was on life support, and it was the very next day he passed on. And
right.
I did want to say a little something about Sean. He was one of my favorites, man. And God, that was so.
Like I said, I feel bad because I have nothing good nor bad to say.
Well, and it's just hard to top. Like, I mean, it's hard to top what he did in WCW. Like just that first promo,
right?
Was what really
coming out in the Canadian, the sleeveless Canadian tuxedo, that denim jacket or whatever the hell it was.
Yeah, just the first words, you all know who I am, but you don't know why.
Hey yo, yeah, right.
Dude, people
Yeah,
were
it was,
legitimately convinced that there was either a merging of the company or they
or
were
there was an
really invading.
invasion, or yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, and then Kevin Nash came. That was great, man. It's good
right.
times.
Because Kevin came the next week.
I
Trying
think
to
it was a
remember,
little ways out. I think it was probably closer to a month almost. And then
was it
the
okay?
the big swerve with Hogan. I
Yeah,
guess the
Bash of the
whole
Beach.
Hogan
Yeah,
being the third member was kind of a last minute call too.
because it was supposed to be Stinger, wasn't? No, not Stinger.
That's what I heard of Sting, but
Was it Stinger? Because I remember there was a third that, yeah, that was kind of the was a last minute change. I do remember that.
what
Just
a great
can't remember if
choice
it was
though. It
Sting
would
or
not have
not.
had the same effect with Sting because then
I don't think so either.
Sting wouldn't have became the Sting that was probably the most successful version. I mean, both versions of Sting were actually really successful. I think his Warrior kind of painting days are kind of
The
underrated
yeah, the flat
because
bleach
he
the
had
bleach
a
blonde
career in
flat
the
top.
80s
Yeah,
that were really good. Where he was a champion and he was a good baby face and he had some good
he just
fights with Flair and shit.
he
But
just didn't have the exposure at that time
no,
when
no,
he
no,
was
no.
when he was
Well,
doing
and he was
that
still
stuff in.
green. A lot of his matches were really shitty, so he's probably lucky then. I mean, he's never been great, but a lot of his matches were. And then, oh my God, that Starcade, what a fucking shit show that was. They fucking built that shit for a year and then botched the ending on the fucking Starcade, that fucking
which
Sting and
which
Hogan. Sting and
which one was
Hogan's.
that? Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
They finally gave Sting the title at Starcade, but the fucking referee accidentally counted to 3 when it was supposed to be a 2 count. So then
Right.
they basically had to come out and fucking have Bret. Then Bret Hart got involved some fucking how, and it was all
Yeah.
just really weird. Like Bret
Right.
Hart came out and was like basically like, nope, that's not how this match is gonna end fairly. Like
They're scrambling and didn't know what the fuck to do.
yeah, they were like, no, it was a 2 count, but it was obviously a fucking 3 count because that ref fucked it up,
Right.
or Hogan didn't kick out in time, probably just to be a dick because he's a fucking egomaniac.
I don't know if it was even that. I mean, maybe he, but I was like, why
I
would
don't
you
think
not
so.
kick
I
out?
think
I mean,
he
I guess.
yeah, but fucking Hogan, man, that's a cool thing for him too. Like, we would have known he could be such a good fucking heel,
Right.
Because I
I mean,
fucking
yeah,
hated Hogan, man.
the All American immortal, Hulkster, like that character's very iconic. But I love Hollywood Hulk, the Hulk
Oh yeah,
Hogan,
man.
way better,
And
way more.
it's so crazy too because like that whole era, like wrestling, like I think I don't know if we've touched on this before or not, but it totally grew up with us.
Oh yeah, we
Like,
are Attitude Era kids for sure.
yeah,
Or the
but
Monday Night Wars for sure.
we're about to we're all pubescent at that time when they started but it grew from like us being like little kids, like, okay, it's cartoonish. Now it's like the older
Oh
you get, it's getting big. So like,
yeah, it became a little bit more adult for us being like 13 years old and shit. Yeah,
yeah. So that was like, I don't know. It's just
popping boners and broad panty matches.
no shit, man. Fucking Lita's whale tail and fucking
Right.
yeah.
Even Sable and her fucking
Dude, I'll tell you
big old boobies.
who I was always hottest on was fucking Stephanie McMahon. Oh man. I
There
love
were
Stephanie
there were
McMahon.
certain get-ups that Steph wore where it was like, oh, okay. And then there were certain times where it's just like she got that, kind of has that Vicky Guerrero-esque voice that comes
Yeah.
out, and I'm like, nope, I'm good. I'm
Dude, I
good.
don't know, man.
You're,
She
you're,
always
you're, her sex appeal goes down as soon as she starts
another
talking.
one, dude, was Dawn Marie from fucking
ECW,
ECW.
yeah.
She came
She
over from
she was
there.
very was she Dawn Marie, like she was attractive when she was in ECW, but she when she finally came over to WWE's version of ECW, she looked haggard as fuck at that point in time. I don't know if it was because of different camera angles or something, but she was much more attractive in ECW than she was in WWE. My opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think I always thought she was hot either way. But yeah, you're probably right. I think she probably was a little more hot in ECW for sure.
Did you ever watch the video where she got pile drove by, I want to say it might have even been Bully, or I can't remember what it was. It might have been Bubba Ray Dudley, Bully Ray, whatever you want to call him, where her halter top got fucking pulled down and one of her titties fell out.
No, I haven't.
Oh,
I
you've
think
never seen that? It was at an
no. I'm gonna have
ECW
to
pay
go
per
look for
view.
it. But I think every female that's ever stepped in the rings had their boob pop out. Stephanie McMahon's tits online too. There's like
Yeah,
poor poor
but
ladies.
like this was like probably the worst I'd ever seen because she's hanging there upside down in fucking pile drive position, and her titties just hanging out there until she gets
There.
pile drove, and then it's like, oh shit, we'll get you covered up.
Well, yeah, with Stephanie McMahon, it was like a half a nipple,
Yeah,
like,
yeah, right.
but yeah. Um,
Should we touch any more on WrestleMania? Because we've totally gotten off
probably,
track of
yeah, we just blew
WrestleMania.
like a whole hour of fucking just talking shit. Yeah, I guess. I mean, I don't know. Let's look. I don't even know who the fuck is going on with WrestleMania, to be honest. It's been so hard to follow.
So,
like, let's start by the fact that they don't need 2 fucking nights of the shit, man. Like,
right?
um,
And what it doesn't make any sense even more so because NXT is also Saturday night. So it's
well,
like,
when is I think the Hall of Fame is Saturday night or it's Friday night. How is that going to fit in with SmackDown? Like,
yeah, I have no fucking idea.
because I want to watch the Hall of Fame. Taker's going in, man. Like, actually, and let's touch on that for a sec. That's a pretty goddamn good class this year, I think.
I've only seen Taker and the Steiners. Other than that, I don't even know who's getting in.
Let's see.
Oh, and then Shad Gazbar is the Warrior Award for his stuff that happened at the beach. I think
Vader's going in this.
Oh, Vader's going in. Oh, did you? Speaking of Vader, oh my God, fucking! Did you see the quote by Nikki Bella?
No.
I'm so excited for Vader to be inducted. I can't wait for his present and his speeches, or his speech or whatever. It's like, oh my God, you stupid bitch, he's fucking dead.
It really bugs me that they do that shit though. Like, why wasn't Vader in, man? Like, Vader should have been in when he was alive, dude.
Oh, no doubt.
And he was going through a fucking tough time, dude. There's so many of those guys. Like, why do you fucking wait?
Right?
Like, put them in. Like, it's fucking stupid, dude. Especially guys like Vader that are not doing well. Put them in when you know they're fucking dying, so they can be fucking appreciated while they're alive.
Yeah, let them get their last hurrah and their send off.
Like, everybody knew Vader was dying for like 2 years. They had plenty of time to get him in there. Why the fuck did they wait? So they could put Rick Rude or fucking Kurt Hennig in? Like, they were both dead.
Other guys that have passed on. Yeah, it's like, like, why don't we get the guy that's fucking dying and get him in, and we'll get Rick and Kurt in the next year. But then maybe their thought was, well, if we do that, and then the next person is that is deserving is dying next year, then we got to bump those guys again. It could be their thinking. I don't really know, to be honest, but
yeah, I don't know, man, what they're fucking shit. Yeah, Taker, Vader.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, what the fuck? Yeah, I don't know. There's this. Who's Queen Charmel? Is that Booker T's wife?
Yeah, that's Booker T's wife. That's kind of stupid, but she was there basically for that King Booker run, and that was about it. But I didn't know that was Hall of Fame worthy.
Yeah, I guess it's not as. I feel like there's less this year, and there's no manager. Where the fuck is? How come there's not a manager? They always should do a manager.
And or a celebrity wing? Is there anybody in the celebrity wing?
I don't know, but I'm kind of fucking over the celebrity wing anyway.
Oh, as am I, but it's per tradition or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, just for the last few years,
Well, yeah, in the last 5-6 years.
But yeah, I'm wondering why the fuck there's not a manager. And as much as you hate him, it kind of pisses me off. They're not going to put Corny in ever. He did so much for that fucking company in its early days.
He unfortunately that guy's burnt a lot of bridges with people, the way he conducts.
Yeah, but I don't think his bridge is so too burnt with WWE. I think they're just worried about all the other shit, which I guess maybe that's your whole point,
Right. He some people love him, and then he ruffles a lot of feathers, so
he does, man. And I get it. I think I like him so much because I can relate to him a bit,
Right.
He's just brutally honest about how he feels, and I'm kind of the same way, and I've gotten in trouble for the same shit. So,
hey, can we do a quick pause?
Yeah, man. Here, I'll pause it.
I need to help Wyatt with something.
All right. Okay, so we were talking about Mania, fucking blah blah blah. Like I don't even know, man. Like I guess the match that I'm looking forward to watching, and the only reason I'm watching is because it's $5 for that fucking Peacock, and I've been binge watching Yellowstone while I'm at it. So I'm
But
gonna binge watch
Yellowstone's on
Yellowstone.
Peacock. Nice.
Yeah, man, everything. So, and I like it, man. I've it took me forever to get into it, but I don't know if it's the pain pills and finally making me sit down and focus on it. But I'm really digging it. I've watched like a season and a half already. So, but I always felt like it was a show I should like, but I just couldn't get into it. You know, it's got a bunch of music I like and shit, and it's just like. But
In the
anyway,
exact same
so
boat.
but I knew it was on there, so I was like, I'm gonna get it. It took me 4 fucking episodes to get into it, and I finally got into it. Now
Okay, because I tried to watch Yellowstone and watched for about 15 minutes, and I was like, I'm not into this at all, and I turned it off. And Melanie's like, no, you just got to. And a buddy from work too was also like, oh no, you got to give it a couple episodes, and then it gets good. And I'm like, bro, I was
dude, I
like,
got past. I
have
couldn't. I
such
had to go
limited
past
time.
2. I had to go past 2, man.
That's what my buddy from work said. He said episode 3 is when it starts to get good.
Yeah, that's probably a pretty safe bet. 3 is probably about where I really started getting into it. 4 is where it really grabbed me, and now I'm sucked in.
Yeah.
So, um, but I knew they had that, and I wanted to give it a real shot. And I was like, what a better time to try to actually make myself watch this than when I'm high
Right.
on painkillers. But anyways,
Yeah.
that's the only reason I'm even
And sitting
committing.
sitting on your rear end for a month.
That's the only reason I'm even committing to watching 2 days of wrestling is I literally can't move and I don't have anything better to do.
Right.
You know, I feel
What's
like
what's the one match? What's the one match you're excited for?
I think
Before we get
honestly it's probably
off topic.
well, it's probably AJ and Edge. I think it's going to be the best one to actually watch.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm kind of excited to just see if it's Cody, and I'm kind of don't think it is. And I kind of hope it's not. I kind of want to see everybody fucking disappointed it's not Cody. Like I
Right.
want it to be like Shane, or there's somebody Elias. There's all kinds of names going around of these. There could be a lot of people, you know.
Right.
There's a lot of people that are on the injured list that could come back, you know. And I was
So
reading something with Rollins today, or Seth Rollins kind of went out of kayfabe and was like, to be honest with you, like the storyline that that I'm telling right now is pretty close to the truth. Like I almost didn't have a WrestleMania opponent.
uh-huh.
Like, and it's kind of been like a who's gonna be my fucking WrestleMania opponent. Like, so I don't know, man. I think Cody better quit fucking around, because I think if he's fucking around, he's gonna get dropped on his ass, dude. Because
I
he's
don't think it's
not
Cody. I think it's Vince. I think it's 100% Vince.
really.
I think Cody. I mean, if all the reports are true, Cody signed his contract fucking 3 weeks ago. So he's waiting for them to say, okay, here's your time or whatever.
Oh, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. No. Okay, but if it
you
is
meant it
Cody,
differently.
yeah. But if it is Cody dicking around trying to play hardball, he better stop,
Okay.
because
I understand. I understand what you're saying.
I think he's over fucking estimating his value. And if
I totally agree. I don't think he's as big a top dog as he thinks he is.
no, and he's just going to go to fucking WWE. It's going to be a giant disappointment. He'll end up back in AEW after they either fucking he gets a bad attitude, gets tired because he can't be fucking in creative control of himself or whatever, and they're gonna
Vince turns him into Stardust 2.0.
They're gonna release him, you know, whatever. Maybe not though. I mean, if they're smart, they might send him over to NXT, let him run that as a storyline or something, you know. There's a lot of things they could do with him.
Does that do anything for Cody Rhodes' legacy at all? It's like, oh, we beat you guys. They rebranded the show, and now I'm gonna go have a storyline on the new show.
No, I think that he's being I mean, it really disappoints me, to be honest. It really fucking disappoints me.
Uh-huh.
In a lot of different ways, that he paved the way for so many guys to say, fuck you, I'm not dealing with this shit. And he's the first one to fucking tuck his tail and go back just because he's not unhappy that he's getting his way over there. And that's what it seems like, you know, to me.
That's what it seems like, yeah.
You know, and I could see why he'd be a little pissed that he's not getting the same money that maybe Daniel Bryan or Punk is. But at the same time, I feel like Tony would have gave him that money if he wasn't causing problems or being a pain in the ass. And I really think that Roads to the Top fucking show made him look like a fucking idiot and made him just look like
Oh,
prima donna bitch and his fucking stupid wife. So I
how much of that is playing it up for TV, and how much of that is real? You think? Because I only watched like 2 episodes of Rose of the Top, and then I kind of forgot about it
at that point
because
I'm like,
it wasn't very interesting, to be honest.
no.
And
Uh,
I'm a big Cody mark. Like that's the most T-shirts I own currently is Cody, Cody Elite and Cody Bullet Club stuff.
yeah, man, and I don't know. I love Cody Rhodes, and I was really hoping he would carry his dad's legacy on and really like pave the way. And I guess in a lot of ways he did, but I fucking kind of hate the fact that he tucked tail and went back, and
It, it'd have been different. Like if you said if he wasn't the first guy to go crawling back to Vinnie Mac. It was just the guy who was the most outspoken, talking shit, and this is a revolution, blah 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 blah. And it was
yeah,
just like,
yeah, no. And then he was
what
the
the
one that
fuck?
was out of
Why?
all those guys, he was the one that kind of wanted the war. You could tell,
Right?
and then I mean, I think that I don't know. I think it just shows that his ego's fucking too big.
Right.
And I think it's gonna learn him a lesson, man. I think he's gonna
I
go back to
totally agree.
WWE, and I think they're gonna punish him. First off, I think Vince McMahon would pay that kid $3 million just to fucking punish him for fucking being a dick and trying. Well, not even being a dick, but just trying to make Vince McMahon look like a dick.
Right.
Like think of all the bad blood there is there between just the name, the fucking pokes, the jabs, Vince would pay him $3 million probably just to
Just
fucking
to have him sit on his ass for 3 years.
yep.
Yep, I could see it.
Some
So speaking of
rumors
speaking
are
of the jabs and stuff, have you seen Seth made a comment I want to say it was last week sometime about how AEW guys that make references to WWE, he finds it, basically petty or whatever. It's more or less to that extent. So then this article comes out a couple days ago, and then today I just happened to open up Twitter and guess what I see on Seth's Instagram is
they're talking shit.
an image, a GIF or whatever, GIF, whatever the fuck you call him, of Marco Stunt, essentially doing exactly what he was just talking shit about.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because he said it's distasteful. That's what he said. It's distasteful. And then you literally what? Like you just did what you just were talking shit about.
Yeah.
Like and I think that was like the speculations of who's
Marco
who's he gonna
Stunt might
wrestle.
be the
Who's he gonna
exception to
wrestle?
that rule, though.
But I get what you're saying because Marco's kind of a joke to begin with, but isn't that just as distasteful as AEW guys taking jabs at
I
WWE?
don't even know why the fuck Seth Rollins is even giving that guy any attention. Really?
I think it's because people are trying to guess who his mystery opponent is.
Oh,
Marco basically got told he got a phone call from Tony,
yeah,
I
yeah.
guess, the other day, and they're not gonna re-sign him
Well,
or whatever.
at least Tony's finally giving these guys phone calls. That's kind of a chicken shit move, really.
Yeah, Joey's one of those guys where I could see he might have done something in Burner Bridge, and Tony was like, "Nah, fuck that guy." Like he just has that vibe.
Well,
about
him and
you know what I
Christopher
mean?
Daniels have beef, I guess, is what he.
Oh, okay.
And
Okay.
Christopher Daniels is a pretty big wig in the back now, I guess, which is a
Yeah,
good
he's
choice.
the head of talent relations.
That's a good choice, in my
Yeah.
opinion. Christopher
Like
Daniels.
Christopher Daniels is the guy that has to make the phone call and says, "Hey, we're not going to re-sign you."
Yeah, so but I guess from what Corny was saying about like all how things work, and like I said, I know I'm only referencing him because like he knows how these things normally work. He said a lot of times it's not abnormal to just not get a phone call. These guys know when their fucking contract runs out, and if they haven't been talked to within 2-3 weeks, usually they know that they're going fucking back to the indies.
Right.
And that's just fairly normal, is what Cornette was saying. So, but I don't know too. He was also kind of saying like fucking grow a pair and call them,
And this is Joey's first time in a major company. Did he ever spend like any legit time in MLW, like where he was under contract? Or
I
has he
don't
just
know,
been
man.
an,
I don't even
an
remember seeing him in
indie darling?
MLW, to be honest, when I was watching pretty regularly.
Uh, yeah, so
Um,
he's an indie darling, and like, what are you expecting? Are you expecting like a red carpet all the time? I mean, yes, somebody in the company should have been, hey, we're
well, it
not going to
doesn't
fucking use
surprise
you, blah blah
me.
blah.
It doesn't surprise me one bit to see his ass get cut. There's going to be a lot of that shit, because they've got big
Oh,
real talent now. Those
and
guys
and
are up
and,
for
and that's and that's what, if I don't know if you read the Marco Stunt article from when he got the phone call from CD. The CD basically said, "Hey, there's going to be more people not getting not getting re-signed, and it's just due to budget cuts, and we have too large of a roster."
Mhm.
But they're letting people's contracts expire. They're not fucking firing them. So I think that's a respectable way to go about it. I mean, even though they get their 90-day blah blah
I
blah blah
don't
blah, but
I don't
didn't but
understand
didn't
how
didn't
Vince
didn't somebody
McMahon.
go ahead.
I don't understand how WWE gets away with so many contract cuttings because the contract's supposed to work two ways.
Yeah, and it doesn't.
So
They they
I,
they
are
must
they,
they must have their shit so tight and benefiting them so much that yeah, they have no option.
yeah, or they just I don't know that they but nobody ever bitches, nobody ever whines, nobody ever tries to sue them for the rest of their money because the contract really is supposed to go two ways, and
Yeah,
I just
I
don't do it. It never
I don't
does.
don't think it does. Yeah,
They want to get rid of somebody, they fucking get rid of somebody. But you got to live your contract out, Look at what they did to fucking poor Brody Lee.
yeah, right. I was gonna say who signed recently and then got shit canned like a month later. I want to say it's a fairly big name like re-signed and then got released
From
like a
AEW or
month.
WWE.
No, from WWE during all the pandemic tail end of this. I wouldn't say the tail
Yeah,
end
I
of the pandemic, but
remember.
tail end of the world not opening back up.
Wasn't it Keith Lee? Maybe.
I kept wanting to say it was Keith Lee or somebody, but yeah, somebody had signed like a brand new 3-year deal and then got let go like a month and a half later.
Yeah, I want to say it was Keith Lee, maybe, but I can't
Yeah.
remember. I don't
I
feel
mean,
like that's
it
right
could even
though.
have been somebody. I don't think it's right either, but it was could even have been like somebody like Tony Nese or whatever. Somebody that wasn't super significant, but significant enough that you knew their name.
Mhm.
But I just for the life of me can't remember who it was. But I'm 95% sure that it happened. But I'm
Yeah,
just drawing a blank who it was.
yeah. I want to say Keith Lee, but
So
I don't feel like that's right for some reason.
right. So we keep getting sidetracked.
Yeah, I know we keep talking about other
WrestleMania.
shit. Mania. See, that's how important Mania is this year. Is that we can't.
I don't even
I don't even know. I'm
know.
trying to look up. I've been trying to look up, and I'm so fucking. I'll be honest. I'm higher than shit right now.
Right.
I need to be
Does any?
higher
I
than shit.
was gonna say let's start the weekend off because you mentioned the Hall of Fame. Okay,
Yeah,
now
we already got past that.
we
So
move on
the
to NXT Stand and Deliver. Does anything there appeal to you?
dude, Dolph versus fucking Steiner. That's not Steiner, even though his fucking
Yeah,
uncle and dad are going in the fucking
Av
local
Steiners.
industry. That's not, I mean, I've fucking talked about that enough. Why the fuck don't they just call him Steiner?
Yeah,
It's stupid.
Vince's logic or whoever's logic this is the dumbest thing to rebrand your guys. It's like motherfucker, they've been on TV. We know who they are. This the day of the internet. We know who everybody is. So unless
So
you're
then
going to
there's
go
a
back to their
fatal
real name,
five way. Fatal five way for the NXT North American Championship with Carmelo Hayes, who I don't even know the fuck that is.
some performance center kid that's apparently they're very high on.
Santos Escobar, I've heard of him.
I know
Solo
his name, but I can't think
Sikoa,
who that
that's
is.
Solo Sikoa is the Uso brother, right?
What's that? James Uso. I mean, I figure
Solo
he's got to have a J
Sikoa.
name. Jimmy Uso, J Uso, and that's Jason Uso. There, now
Uh,
that's the new Uso brother.
yeah, that's the Uso brother.
And
Julius
Grayson Waller.
Creed, Brutus Creed. Oh no, that's down farther.
I was gonna say,
Grayson
I want to say
Waller. I think
Grayson
Grayson
Waller.
Waller is the guy that. Yep, Grayson Waller. I like this guy actually.
I remember seeing him at what's the double ring fucking match? War Games. I remember seeing him at War Games, but I that's the only time I've ever seen that dude on TV. But that's just because I don't watch NXT anymore because I really don't care.
Yeah, he's
But
good on the mic.
I know you've talked about him, and you said you're a big fan, or at least maybe not a big fan, but you liked him.
Yeah, he's good on the mic, but they've got him in a stupid fucking storyline right now.
He's an Aussie, right?
Yeah. And then Cameron
Yeah.
Grimes is another guy that was doing really awesome, but then they changed his character. I haven't really watched his new character since. So
I don't even get what his character is. Is he just like some caveman with a top hat?
well, it was almost not now. They did something different, but his old thing used to be almost like the Dieter or Dieners.
Okay, because I remember when he was in Impact, TNA, whatever you want to call it, before he signed with NXT, he was like a caveman gimmick, but he was also like a prodigy of like the Hardys or something like that. But he was a caveman was kind of his shtick or whatever. And I really really dug that character, when I did see it on Impact.
Okay, and then you got Tommaso Ciampa and Tony D'Angelo. That'll be a good match. This Tony D'Angelo guy looks good. Do you know anything about him?
Just the War Games match, and so I know nothing about him other than he's just some stereotypical Italian character.
That's one thing.
Hey, forget about it.
Oh yeah. I haven't heard him talk.
The Guido FBI. He's. I do remember seeing a promo. He's definitely the full blooded Italian fucking Guido, stereotypical Italian gangster from the 20s kind of character.
I haven't heard him talk, but he looked convincing when he whooped fucking Tommaso's ass, which is something that's hard to do. And then there's a fatal four-way: Mandy Rose, Imperium,
and
there's a bunch of people I don't fucking know.
No, you know who MSK is. MSK is the Rascals.
That's right.
Yeah, I love those dudes. But apparently Nash Carter's getting into some shit because apparently his soon-to-be or current ex-wife, I don't know if they got divorced or not, said some shit about he used to beat the shit out of her or whatever, and then tried to bring Wes Carter, which is, I can't remember what his name was in Impact, Xavier something or other. But anyways, trying to bring him up, and he was like, "No, this is bullshit. This never didn't happen. Don't bring me into this. This is all a crock of shit. You're just mad about blah 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 blah, and you're trying to ruin Nash for doing, or by doing this or something to that effect." And so surprise he's still getting a match.
Well, then there's the NXT Women's Championship. There's a fucking
Mandy Rose.
No, tag team.
Oh, tag team.
Toxic Attraction. What are they? I don't even
which
know.
Which is Gigi Dolan, which is Darby's ex-wife.
Okay.
Oh,
Priscilla really? Kelly. I didn't know that.
Yeah. Priscilla Kelly is Gigi Dolan, and I don't know what some other attractive.
The tampon girl.
Yeah. Some other attractive girls. They're the other partner.
Well, and then there's
the Toxic Attraction is Mandy Rose, Priscilla Kelly, and then the other girl. I don't know what the other girl's name is.
Okay. And then you got them against Rachel Gonzalez and Dakota Kai. Dakota Kai is good.
Yeah. They don't do much. They don't do anything for me, but a lot of the current.
It's probably
current
women's.
I was gonna say a lot of the current women's product is, from NXT and AEW. There's very little that move the needle in my eyes.
And this is one thing I will say, man, about NXT is they've still got really good up and coming talent. And the thing I like about it is that it's all talent that I've never heard of, So It's like, that's cool because it was getting like, all right, which indie guy is going to show up at NXT? It became less developmental and more like another brand. And I did kind of miss that aspect of old school NXT where you'd see like, like the first one ever was like fucking Bo Dallas versus fucking Neville,
Neville. Yeah.
Great. Just simple ladder match. It reminded me of old school Raw a little bit, it was
right.
Good, so I like the fact they're bringing a little bit of that aspect back actually, even though they did have some great NXT days,
Right. Well, I was looking at the NXT Stand and Deliver card, and I'm looking at it, and there's only like 4 or 5 people that are in the whole show that are Performance Center originals. Most everybody else came from other places, like LA Knight and Gunther. That's formerly Eli Drake and frickin' Walter. Like those guys have been around the block a minute. And then, obviously, Nick Nemeth, Dolph Ziggler. Yeah, he's been around the block, former world champion. And then Steiner, granted, he's super green, but he's very, very talented for only wrestling like 19 fucking matches in his career.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, if you look at the rest of the thing, it's like there's only a handful of performance center folks that are in that match. The Carmelo Hayes, the D'Angelo, and I think Grayson Waller are the only, and then maybe the other gal from Toxic Attraction. I think those four might be the only quote unquote performance originals that are in the match, because I can't think who's in the other match with the Imperium and MSK. There's a third team, right?
Oh fuck! I just took it off.
You closed it. Okay, yeah. Well, anyways, I maybe there's somebody that's on one of those teams that's part of it, but everybody else is, they were indie folks at some point in time.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're not WWE originals or whatever.
So I'm wondering how long these shows are supposed to be, because
fuck, dude,
there's not
Saturday could be
wrestling
a long
matches on them, dude. So that concerns me. If they're 5 fucking hours long, there's only like 5 matches, which means there's gonna be a lot of stupid shit.
Seven on NXT Stand and Deliver. So Saturday is when I'm assuming
there's 7 on. There's 7 on,
and then there's seven on WrestleMania night 1, and there's 7 on night 2 as well.
Yeah, there's 7 on all.
Okay. Well, hopefully, I mean, as horrible as it sounds, hopefully they're not fucking 5-hour shows, because I mean, don't get me wrong, I very much enjoyed Revolution, but the last 2 matches, I was like, okay, I'm kind of wrestled out. It's been 4.5 hours.
All right, so Jesus Christ. So first night, we got Becky Lynch versus Bianca Belair. Haven't really been super stoked on Becky. Bianca's good though. Hopefully they have Becky drop the belt to Bianca and give her a goddamn
her a legit run. Yeah.
Let's talk about the women's division for a second, and why the fuck they're not fucking using Rhea Ripley. Like, why are they fucking totally not using her right now? She looks good, she talks good, she is good, and they've totally shit on her with all that work they put into her.
They're using her, and I mean, I don't think they have a spot for her on, in a singles match, but the stuff with her and Liv,
fuck, she should have a goddamn belt, man. She should have like a real belt.
But her and Liv are very, very good together as the tag team, and I think they're going after the tag titles on Sunday against Zelina Vega and who the hell's the other, Carmella, I think, is the other tag champ. Mm-hmm. And so they got those 2 ladies together as a tag team are doing something entertaining. But I do agree that I think Rhea Ripley is a singles wrestler. I just think there just wasn't a spot on the card for her as a singles wrestler.
Yeah, that's their own fault though, because there's nobody really on the roster, in my opinion, that's better than her right now. I mean, I think Ronda on there is smart because she's going to draw.
Exactly.
But they need to start fucking putting like more faith into their fucking younger fucking guy or girls and guys, because essentially, man, like fucking Rhea's, I don't know, they misused her out the gate, and then they fucking put her on the shelf, and there's not really, for me, not even a good reason,
But Rhea was basically after Bianca went up to the main roster. I'm trying to think of like significant girls that are from NXT. I mean, so because Bianca was like the first significant girl post the 4 horsewomen to go to NXT and actually like do anything.
Yeah.
And then Rhea was like the next girl after that. I mean, I think it's really, the horsewomen and Ronda, Rhea and Bianca Belair, and that's really, your women's division is really only about 7 girls deep, in my opinion.
I don't know. And then up next, we got fucking Rey Mysterio and Dominic Mysterio versus The Miz and Logan Paul. I'm absolutely not interested in that at all. I totally don't see what the fuck. I mean, there's a lot of people that are really geeking out about Dominic Mysterio. I just can't get into the kid. Maybe
Yeah,
later
he
I'll
does. He
see.
does nothing. He does nothing for me
Maybe later I'll
either.
see what everybody else sees in him, but I just don't see shit in him. And I'm tired of Ray too, to be honest.
He's been around a long time,
And then here's another
and
fucking yeah, he's just one of those guys who needs to ride off in the sunset, just like the Hardys, man.
right.
I mean, he could offer a lot to companies backstage if people would let him. You know, that's where these guys need to go. They don't need to still be out there fucking wrecking their bodies and fucking and doing this shit anymore. You know, I mean,
Right.
it's cool when there's only like that's cool when there's like two or three of these guys, but when half the fucking rosters are dudes pushing their 50s, you know, like I'll accept Brian Danielson and CM Punk in that spot, but they're even younger than fucking Rey Mysterio, you know?
Yeah, I
So
mean, like
they're almost too
Chris.
fucking old to me, you know?
I think Daniel looks good still. Punk looks like he needs to run a couple more laps, but I do get what you're saying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and
I was gonna
he
say,
doesn't look like he's really
Chris is
improving too much either.
no, not really. I mean, I know he's going after the world. I mean, I guess that's his next thing is he's going after the world title.
I think they should
After,
probably just let him have it because fucking Hangman is not fucking doing shit. Hey,
no,
I thought I would tell you this, man. So Cornette fucking the other day. Actually, I just heard this last night. They asked, and he's a huge Adam Page fan, but they were like, his co-host was like, well, who do you think carried the title better? Fucking Omega or fucking Hangman? And he's like, I have to tell you, he's like, Omega by far.
it's Kenny. Yeah, Kenny,
He's like,
one
as
hundred
much as I
percent.
can't stand some of the shit he does, at least he looked the part and he tried to fucking be the part. You know, it's like there's just something about Hangman that's not clicking. And I think it's because they fucked his character up so bad. If they would have let him have it out the gate, like they talked about, I think he would have done a really good job as one of the first champions, you know,
Yeah.
but I think they should have had Jericho drop it to Hangman instead of Mox. And then maybe
Well, I
have
mean,
Mox do a heel turn and take it from Hangman down the line. But instead they did the drinking thing and the fucking tag team thing, and it was just like, what the fuck are they doing? You know, he lost his relevance.
what is Hanger's current gimmick? He's a millennial cowboy, so like he suffers from anxiety, so like he's like relatable to all the millennials that suffer from anxiety and blah 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 blah. But his character, outside of that, does not move the
Well,
needle
then they just have the
at all.
fucking random Dark Order bullshit coming in every once in a while. It doesn't make any fucking sense when that happens.
Yeah,
You know, I know you're a Dark Order guy, and I'm not, and
but
I'm not. But that's not my point. It's not the fact that I'm not a Dark Order guy that's irritating me. It's the fact that it doesn't make any fucking sense.
well, I mean,
Ever.
as soon as Adam said no, I'm not going to join the. When John Silver got on his knees and proposed to him and said, "Hey, will you join the Dark Order?" and he said no, I think that's where his Dark Order stuff should have died. But the fact
Yeah,
that it's
maybe they
still
should actually did something with the Dark Order where they fucked with him for not joining, you know, but instead of
yeah,
like
or had a more like driven storyline instead of like, oh, they just show up and help him out every now and again. Like I'm kind of in the same boat where it's like just wash your hands of each other and move on and do something different.
here's a
Bring
guy. This next match, this guy reminds me a bit of I mean, I feel exactly about this guy as I do about Hangman as the champion. Drew McIntyre was a guy I had really high hopes for, but did shit for me as the champion in WWE. And it's
yeah,
him and Corbin.
him
Him and
and Happy
Corbin.
Corbin again,
Yep, that's gonna be fucking dumb. I have no interest in that.
right?
Jimmy Uso and Jay Uso versus Shinsuke and Rick. I wish Shinsuke would leave and go someplace else because he's underused, underappreciated, and he's one of my favorite wrestlers. And I constantly forget that because he's still in this shitty fucking company.
You mean like how they put Finn Balor, the U.S. champion, on main event the other day?
Oh God.
Jesus Christ! When I saw that, I saw a picture of Finn on the little blurb, and it was like main event results here. So I clicked on it, and I was like scrolling through. I'm like, really? You got your U.S. champ, your very fucking first Universal champion is now on basically your YouTube show.
I don't understand why they do that too. They just like forgot how like they could have made him a star, dude. They have so many great younger dudes that are actually not so young now, but they had so many
Yeah,
guys that
Finn and Ricochet are the two that stick out the most to me.
Well, and Shinsuke.
Yeah, Shinsuke as well.
But they fucking don't like him because he can't speak English, even though he was one of the best NXT champions I fucking remember, you know?
And that's WWE's problem is because they rely so much on story. And if you can't talk, you're not worth a shit to them.
Their
And
stories
why have we not seen Asuka, in fucking months? Is she hurt, or is it they just can't get over the fact that she hasn't fucking gotten better at English?
Yeah, I think she's hurt. But
Is she okay?
Yeah, I think so. But
So I was gonna say, now the women's division is eight deep because I forgot about Asuka.
but yeah, man, I don't fucking know, man. And then you got fuck, what else? Yeah, I mean Shinsuke.
What other? I was gonna say, isn't there another tag title match? What other New Day member is Ridge Holland gonna fucking kill?
Yeah, it's the New Day, Xavier Woods, Kofi versus Sheamus and Ridge Holland with Butch.
With Butch.
Fucking stupid.
Do you call me a lesbian?
Fucking stupid.
That's still gonna be my probably my favorite conversation we've ever had. Did you just call me a lesbian?
And then Seth Rollins versus to be announced, and then
To be announced.
Then they've got this is a fucking huge mistake. Like closing out the night, and I mean, if this is how the roster goes, it's going to be stupid. They got Charlotte Flair versus Ronda Rousey after that, and if it's Cody that comes out, they're not going to be able to compete with that. That match is going to suck. Even fucking Charlotte can't carry fucking Ronda's shitty ass wrestling. And I feel like Charlotte's checked out of it too, man.
Yeah, she just re-sign recently too. But she definitely seems
she wanted
checked
to
out.
release, I think, but they didn't give it to her, and they came to an agreement. But I haven't heard anything about her re-signing.
So. Okay, so maybe that's what it was. Is she stopped asking for her release, and they came to something. But in my head, it was like she asked for release, they didn't grant it, and then she re-signed, and I was like, wait, what the fuck? But maybe I misread that somewhere.
You and I might have too, to be honest. All right, so night 2, we got Queen Zelina and Carmella versus Sasha Banks and Naomi versus Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan versus Natalie and Shayna Baszler.
Oh yeah,
Shayna's another one.
I was gonna say there's so many females I always forget about. Shayna could be a female world title person.
Yeah. I just want to see Natalia's boobs on my face and
no doubt. Yeah,
use her boobies as earmuffs when it's cold, you know. But
there's one video or something that maybe it might have been a Vine from back in the day where her and her sister were in like these dresses and their
we were talking about this on Instagram where they put her in the shirt.
Yeah, is that what it was?
Oh my fucking god.
Yeah. Be like,
boy.
Sit on my face.
Natty. Fucking Natty Neidhart, man.
Right?
She's batshit crazy and I love it. She's right up my alley. Right up my alley. Here's a match I'm actually looking forward to, actually. And it's kind of dumb, and I don't usually go for these matches, but Johnny Knoxville and Sammy, I've been into that whole feud. And I listen to a lot of Sirius XM Outlaw Country, and Johnny Knoxville's been talking so much shit on his fucking show with Roger Allen Wade. It's hilarious. Every time I turn it on, Johnny Knoxville's talking shit about Sami Zayn. He like posted it. He kept like fucking giving his phone number out on the fucking air and shit like that. Did you follow any of that?
I caught wind of some of it, yeah.
Yeah, so people were calling Sami Zayn. I think it was like a burner phone. It was all at work, you know, but people he was picking up Sami Zayn was picking up the phone for people for a while, you know. Which like that's pretty cool work, man, where they're like having Sammy in character picking up the phone. I got to give him kudos for that, you know.
But
this is another one I'm pretty into.
Hold on, before you get past that, I want to touch base on what did I say earlier about people outside the ring, you know, bringing stuff in. You know, it's kind of the same concept where it's like Johnny's embraced the wrestling world, and you know he's brought all this, you know, very entertaining storyline in, and continued it in the outside world, which is I always think is very entertaining. Like the, you know, Logan Paul, you know, coming in, he's from what clips and stuff I've seen, he's embraced coming into the wrestling world, but he hasn't really worked his shtick outside.
And he's not quite the dick as
being on WWE TV. Uh-huh.
Logan isn't quite the dick his brother is, and he really likes being in the wrestling world. I think, from judging by what I've been seeing, and
Yeah.
and how he's been working with Miz. Like I feel like Logan Paul's been actually working real hard to put out a good program for Mania. Like he cares, you know. I feel like if it would have been Jake coming in, he would have just been like, "Well, my name's not good enough. I can't just like, you
Yeah.
know."
Right.
But I feel like Logan Paul's like actually like wanting to learn a bit, you know, even if he's not.
Embraced it like Bad Bunny did, because Bad Bunny, even though he's severely undersized, like he's been very entertaining in the ring when he has showed up, and he's taken it super serious. So
Yeah.
yeah, no, that
And they picked a
I
good
like.
time to get Knoxville on too, whoever picked that, because I mean, Jackass has kind of always been relevant at some times and not relevant in others. And they're at a point where Jackass was like the number one movie in the country for a minute, and it kind of hit right
Right.
when theaters were really opening back up. So
Right.
the relevance of Jackass is pretty high right now. So I think they picked a good time to do that. Plus, I mean, I'm a big Jackass guy anyways. But the
Right.
next one I'm actually kind of into as well. And it's Pat McAfee versus Austin Theory. And that's because Pat McAfee's always doing, I don't know, every time I've seen him, he's really goes all in on his shit, you know?
Pat McAfee's great, but it's just a bummer that they're not creating these guys. They're bringing these outside entities in, and it's just it's cool. That Logan Paul's coming in, and that fucking that Pat McAfee's coming in. I know he's wrestled some matches, and done stuff with Adam Cole, but it's one of those things where it's just like, fuck, why can't you guys create and build on your own stars?
Mhm.
Stop bringing in
And
one-off people.
well, Pat McAfee's also on commentary all the time.
No, no, no. Which I know he's affiliated. He'd been like Jerry Lawler had a match when Michael Cole had his little wrestler gimmick. When he had that little feud with Lawler. Like I get it. He's a part of the TV. He's a part of the brand, but it's just I don't know. Like that spot could have been filled by somebody else. but like it's like you said. I think it's going to be a great match. I just think I don't know. Like somebody who Finn, who's getting left off, is getting
Well,
replaced by Pat
let me
McAfee.
say
You
something.
know,
Like
go ahead, go ahead.
Austin Theory's really good, but I don't see why everybody thinks he could be like the next face of the company, though. You know, I'm hearing a lot of that, like, oh, Austin Theory, like Vince McMahon's got a lot of golden eggs in that kid's basket or whatever, but I'm not seeing that, and a lot
But
of
is
other
he the next the next John
Cena.
Cena? Is he the
No,
next
that's I
even
think
Shawn
that's what
Michaels?
I don't know. I think that's what everybody's saying, but I don't see it.
I don't see it either.
Maybe I'm not seeing. There's something there I'm not seeing though. You
Yeah,
know.
the kid, ever since he's been on TV, has really done nothing for me. I mean, he's got a great look. I'll give him that. Got a great look, great build, but doesn't really move the needle for me.
Mhm. I don't even think his looks as good as everybody says it is. To be honest.
He's barely cut. That's the only
I mean,
thing. He's
I think if we're gonna go by physiques, I mean, I think fucking, like
Finn
uh
Balor,
well,
Ricochet.
Balor and even Riddle, you know.
Oh yeah, Matt Riddle. Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and then so you got then
Okay, yeah. Continue with the card.
after that you got RK Bro versus the Street Profits versus Alpha Academy. That's fucking waste of my fucking time right there. I like the
Right.
Street Profits, okay, but I'm over fucking RK Bro. I'm gonna imagine. I think this is where they'll end RK Bro. I think they wanted to for a while, because I think they're kind of Randy's kind of tired of it. I think on the backside of
Uh-huh.
it, I don't think him and Riddle get along real well behind the scenes.
They do, only because I just listened to an interview with Randy and Pat McAfee where he didn't get Riddle at first, but he grew on him, and like he actually like really enjoys the dude's company. Like Randy like broke character, and was talking as Randall Orton, whatever the fuck his real name is. But you know what I mean? So he said I didn't fucking get it at first, and he was like, being totally out of character, dropping F bombs, this and that. And he's like I didn't get it. He's like the same way with he brought up Dean Ambrose, John Moxley, whatever you want to call him. He brought him up and he said, I just don't fucking get him. It took a while for me to get it. And then I was like, okay, he's just a fucking weirdo. Okay, we're all fucking weirdos, blah, 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 blah. So he said it did take a while for Riddle to, for him to open up to Riddle, but he finally embraced him, like legit.
Yeah, so I imagine though I heard they were gonna break them up, but they're one of the highest selling merch guys right now.
Are
So
they?
they're coming together, yeah. Yeah, as much as I hate Riddle, that's one of those things I don't understand. The motherfucker, he is selling fucking merch, man. So that means
Yeah,
somebody likes him someplace, you know?
it's that that he is, even though he's not super lazy, he portrays himself as like a just take it easy, tranquilo, no, not a care in the world, which I just can't get behind. It's like, bro, you're just like some surfer stoner dude that I'm just
Yeah, it's
like, you're
annoying.
you're not you're not anything that screams, oh yeah, I want to watch this guy in a wrestling match,
I actually thought he was kind of funny at first, but he got old really fast. But
right?
and then the match that I think is gonna steal it all, personally, is Edge versus AJ Styles. Uh,
Uh-huh.
Edge's heel, apparently. AJ's baby
Uh-huh.
face, which I didn't even know that took place. Like it's
Yeah,
kind of funny to me.
I saw something online where it was like somebody was talking about Edge being the Edge of old when he was the rated R superstar, like when that character originally, became that character, and that's kind of the Edge that's currently existing.
Yeah, they
We just
kind
kind of
of
snapped and like, oh, I'm
the
a
whole
bad
thing
guy and I'm
that
gonna
kind of
do fucked
bugs
up
me
shit.
about that though is it all happened like so fucking quick. Like
It was
like
and
because
it was only for the build for this match too.
pretty much, yeah, because like they split up Omis and
And AJ, yeah.
and AJ, and they all of a sudden they made AJ a face out of that, and he was like a
Mm,
face for like a month, and uh then Edge turned heel by turning on AJ or something.
right,
It's like
right.
to me it was like they needed to have AJ as more of a, I don't know. I feel like that would have been better the other way personally.
Hmm.
And then you got Bobby Lashley versus Omis, which
Hmm.
everybody's really, and I got to, to be honest, watching Raw, I got a good side of Omis, man. And I think he is every bit of everything that people are talking about. I mean, I can see why people are talking about him. Maybe I don't think he's next Andre. That's something that probably will never happen, but I do think he's got something to offer.
What's his arsenal like? Because I haven't watched him except for like the Royal Rumble.
Just power, man. And he does it in a unique way. And I
But
hear,
he's not body slamming and suplexing people though, right? He's just
no,
kind of like tossing them around and beating them up.
yeah, I toss him around, but he's really good at it. He's
Uh,
different with it, kind of like Andre, I guess. And
because Andre didn't bust out a lot of moves either.
from what I hear
He
too,
just beat you up.
yeah, that's kind of what he does.
Uh,
And I think that's where the comparison is coming from, and it looks like it hurts. Like
right, right.
he
Just
does
because
it
he's a
good.
giant of a human.
Oh yeah, and he just uses those big old hands, and he talks a lot like Andre when Andre's a heel, where he's just like, but he's got kind of a street thing to it.
Okay, because I was like, Andre always kind of came off like he was like missing a brain cell or two. Like he wasn't the
Yeah,
most
so does
like he was the epitome of like I'm a giant and I'm kind of a dumbass, but like
yeah,
I'm a
but
big
that's
ass
kind of
person.
almost too. But he puts a little
Uh-huh.
hood in it. He puts a little hood in it.
Hmm.
That's what I'm kind of gathering, anyways. Like I only
Got it.
saw a bit of him when Lashley came out. So
Right.
and then it's Brock versus Roman, man, and it'll be
What
interesting
are
to
they,
see
what
what
are
they do there.
what are they renaming the title now?
Fuck, I don't know. Are they? I thought it was just the
Yeah, it's
unified
like
title.
it's gonna be like the unified universal fucking undisputed championship or some dumb shit
Jesus,
like that.
why can't they just call it the World Championship? Why can't they just fucking call it the World Championship or the WWE title? Is that fucking hard?
Yeah, exactly. Just call it one of those two and we'll be fine.
Jesus. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't even heard, man.
Yeah,
But
I saw an article what they were gonna name it, and it was something outlandish like that. It wasn't that bad, but it was pretty like just call it the fucking world title. Stop giving it all these stupid ass names, but
yeah.
whatever. Premium live
So
events.
so far, yeah, it's probably I don't know. I can't. I'm just so over it. I don't know, man. And they really need to
It
stop
was
in 2 days. It's so dumb.
Yeah, I think it's too much. But then they're like, but everybody needs a WrestleMania moment. So then they're gonna have one day and it's 14 matches. I don't know if I want to see that either.
Yeah.
I want to see as much as I want to see everybody get their shot. I really only want to sit through about 7 or 8 matches, and I'm cool with that tops.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they just
And that's
out.
even pushing it. Like I said, keep it at 3.5, 4 hours, and I'm good there. Once you get past 4 hours, I'm like, okay, I'm watching it because I've spent $60 on this, or I just re-upped my WWE subscription or my Peacock subscription or whatever. But I'm like, but I don't want to sit here for fucking 5 goddamn hours.
Dude, honestly, man, I wouldn't if I was like fucking uh if I wasn't fucking completely laid up and had nothing better to do. I could think of a million
Yeah,
things I'd do.
you have a different scenario this year compared to what could have been if you didn't just have knee surgery.
I think, and I might have said this last year too, but I think it'll be interesting to see where WWE goes after Mania, though, because I think if they're gonna fix it, or if they're gonna try to make it better, or try to make a different style,
I don't think they're gonna do shit personally.
I
But
don't
what?
either.
Go ahead.
I don't either. But I mean, I think
Because
this
they're making so much fucking money with this stale, fairly boring fucking product.
Mhm.
And but they're making the highest earnings ever this quarter, blah 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 blah. It's like, well, yeah, because you're not doing as many house shows, and you're not traveling as much, and you cut half your roster, and you worked out these TV deals, and you worked out these streaming deals. Like, there's reasons why you're the most lucrative you've ever been, because a lot of this stuff is available now, and a lot of this, the pandemic and shit happened, and they had to do what they had to do, which I get. It sucks, but I get it. But it's like, I struggle with like highly tout like, oh, they made the most money ever. It's like, yeah, because they had to rethink how to fucking make money, and that part worked, but now the product is suffering.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but maybe it's not. Like I said, maybe it's just our time. It's not, not ours anymore.
Yeah, it's just not ours anymore. We're WWE is reverting back to is not growing up with us. It's reverting back to a younger audience.
It happens every so often,
Right?
They did it when we grew up. It went
Yeah,
to
it's like,
this
how many of those guys that were 40 watching wrestling, watching Hogan and shit, when the Attitude Era kicked in, like they just didn't get all the punk rock stuff. I mean, they probably enjoyed the bras and panties matches, but there's a lot of the stuff that they probably didn't get. But I could be wrong, because I mean, wrestling
a
was
lot of
doing
it was like
6 million viewers and shit like that. It was
a
doing
lot of
way
it
more
was
views.
with our generation was how I remember hearing, and this is what I remember hearing from like my grandpa, who's an old school wrestling fan, or like my mom or my aunts who are old school wrestling fans. Is with our generation, they didn't get it because it was so vulgar or like so like
Vulgar. Yeah.
vulgar. Yeah.
Yeah.
So fucking
All the sexual innuendos were too much for the older generation, the territory
like Mae
generation.
Young giving birth to a hand, or Braun
Yeah.
Panties, or just the Steve Austin's, and it was people were rooting for the bad guys, and the anti-hero came along then, and nobody could get that. Like, why are you rooting for the bad guy? You want the bad guy to win? Like that
Like,
was
well, yeah.
some of it too.
That stems from the 90s upbringing, where it was cool to be crude.
Yeah. And now we're going in the opposite way, like extremely, where now you have to be fucking perfect, and you can't fucking.
You have to be PC with everything, or
it's just going to be fucking
everybody's
baby faces fighting baby faces with the next generation. It's just going to be all good guys, or like super over the top superhero villain bad guys. That
see, and that's where a lot of the Ring of Honor, New Japan didn't really do it all that often, unless it was like tournament stuff. But it was a lot of that where you just want to see good wrestling, where the story didn't matter. You just want to see good wrestling. And I think that might be, what WWE might turn into in that aspect, where you're saying baby faces are going to wrestle baby faces. Because, like, how do you have two baby faces do a story other than just have them wrestle?
Yeah, they just shake hands and fucking move.
Yeah, exactly. Like the whatever the Ring of Honor calls it, exchange of honor, or whatever the hell it is when they shake hands. Yeah. But I don't think WWE will ever revert to a wrestling company. They will always be a sports entertainment company. So I don't think they'll ever go back to. I think they will always have babyface versus heel. They'll just have to figure out a different way to have the heel exist.
Speaking
in
of
this, you know,
sports,
this PC world.
speaking of sports entertainment, let's touch on AEW a little bit before we hop off, because I know it's
The
WrestleMania weekend.
JAS.
Yeah, man. Oh my god. I think that's fucking stupid. I
I
mean,
think it's very stupid too.
I'm not into any of those guys really, and I don't know.
I think Matt Lee's hilarious, or whatever his name is he's going by now. That, you know, the chubbier, the block-headed one.
Yeah, he's actually
From
probably the
2.8.
one that kind of looks like he belongs in the gun club.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I think he's entertaining. Like Daniel Garcia is a smaller version of Jake Hager, where it's like neither of those two need to even talk.
Yeah. Well, Jake Hager,
I
oh my god, when he does talk, it's hilarious.
it is very funny, but it's like I don't need him to talk. Just sit there and be a, you know, 6'8" fucking bodyguard. You just do that and you're fine. You don't need to say a word the rest of the time in AEW. I'm cool with that. But like,
I'd be surprised if he isn't cut pretty soon.
you think so? I think him and Jericho are too close of buds that I don't think he's gonna get cut, unless, because I think Jericho's gonna have some pull.
Are they are they really like fucking
I
buddies or what?
I think they became buddies. Yes. I don't know if it's been a long standing relationship when they were in WWE, but I think since coming to AEW, they became much tighter than they were.
Yeah. Well, like, I don't know, man. Like another thing we were talking about, like, I'm not super stoked with a lot of AEW shit right now either, man. To be honest, like, I'm not super stoked about this Mox and fucking Brian alignment anymore. Um,
It's intriguing. I don't know if I'm excited, but I'm intrigued to what they're gonna do. And if it fizzles out and it doesn't end up doing shit, and it just was kind of a way for them to just beat the shit out of people for a couple months, then it'll be fucking stupid. But if it turns into something cool, then I'm on board. But if it's just them beating the shit out of people for a couple months till they split up, it's like, what was the fucking point?
yeah,
Just to sell some merch, you know?
well, I hope they build off of it, build a pretty good faction, not just a tag team, because then that
I mean,
just shows lazy ass booking that they just wanted to get Regal and they can't think of better shit for those two to do. So they're just going to put them all three together, put this stupid long fucking name on a fucking team it's just kind of dumb. So, yeah, so I'm not into that. I'm trying to think of what I'm most into right now in that whole thing. Really,
Thunder Rosa getting the title, does that do anything for you?
not really.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. Like, she needed to win it because her and Britt have had a pretty good, you know, back and forth. So she needed to win it, but her winning it does nothing for me. Like, I'm like, okay, let's have her drop it to somebody else.
Yeah.
I'm intrigued by Ty and the girl from Oregon. Why am I drawing a blank? The MMA girl, Paige Van Zant. I'm intrigued by them, but that's just because I got like wrestling crushes on both those two. So I just want to see them fight because
Yeah, I think Paige Van Zant's gonna be pretty good, man. I guess that whole thing has got me a little interested, but I'm so high right now I can't figure out what storyline that fucking is even going into.
it was TNT title, and then it was Scorpio with Dan Lambert and Paige Van Zant coming out because she's part of American Top Team.
Yeah.
Sammy drops the title, and then, you know, they attack Sammy, and then she goes out to make the save, and then Paige fucking does whatever, and so like it felt like it was going to go to a mixed tag match, but who do you throw in there? Do you throw Scorpio Sky in there? Do you throw Ethan Page? Do you bring in another member to join American Top Team? Does Paige Van Zant's husband, is he also training in professional wrestling, and then he's also gonna, let's say he's also gonna sign with them? I'm just speculating. So I'm like, yeah, I don't really know what they're gonna do with that.
I like that Lance Archer's been hanging around Dan Lambert. I hope that turns into something relevant. Dude, I really, they need to use Lance Archer as something more than just a filler to fucking for the title.
Yeah, no, I think he would have
The
been
TNT
been a better.
champion for a minute.
I was gonna say he would have been. I think he would have been personally would have been a better title holder than Hangman.
Yeah. Another thing too is that Dustin Lance feud could be good, which is crazy because Dustin is I've been saying, dude, they need to do something with Dustin, man, because people fucking are behind that guy and he's old.
Yeah, I think he's content just doing what he's doing, and he's training the girls and just filling in where he needs to fill in. I think he's happy in his role.
I don't know. They need to give him something because he's one of the most relevant storytellers on there, man. He tells a
Right.
great story. Look at that.
I
He
agree
picked
with
that
you
story
there.
up in a week and fucking ran with it harder than any story has been ran for a while.
Because he's old. He's like a different version of old school. You know, he's not like he gets it. You know, he gets it.
Yeah. And he doesn't tuck his tail and run back to Vince just because fucking
Yeah,
his
fuck.
brother did, you know?
Right, right. Well, I'm glad
Uh,
he came out and said, "I'm not going anywhere. I love where I'm at,"
yeah. Yeah. He
which
couldn't.
is what we thought Cody did too. But when Tony basically took all the creative away from the EVPs and said, "No, I'm going to be the head booker. I'm getting the last call." Then he went and tucked tail and ran back to Vince. But it was like, bro, Vince is going to fucking
Oh, yeah. You're going to have less.
gonna control your shit even more. I was like, what? And then you might become Stardust again. At least you were fucking Cody Rhodes. You got your name back.
Oh, yeah. He's 100% at some point going to end up as Stardust again if his fucking career's, you know.
Oh yeah,
Maybe they won't. Maybe he's got it in his contract that he'll be champion and he'll secure a good legacy. But
and he's got in his contract that he will never be Stardust ever again. Then he'll be Dust Star.
something. Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, and that whole Stardust thing was just it showed how talented he was, honestly. You
Because he
know?
could get over with this stupid fucking gimmick. Yeah,
Yeah, he took that and ran with it, even though everybody
right,
joke, you know, and it sucks.
right.
Yeah, it sucks. I'm disappointed as shit. If and
No, I get you.
I'm still holding on to hope that it's not him, you know,
Right.
because there's I'm like it could be Shane. I think and I don't think I'm the only one. I think there's a lot of people out there that are like, please don't let this be Cody. Like I
Yeah.
think that's why everybody's like, it could be Shane, or you know, it could be Elias, you know, it could be this.
Right. Right.
Yeah, you know, and I'm holding on to that, but fuck, I feel like it might actually be him, you know, and
Yeah. I think it's probably a safe bet that it is. It is him.
yeah, I don't know though. It would be cool if it wasn't, and it was
Right.
all of the best fucking. If it's not though, and this is what sucks because if it's not, it's the best work in a long time.
Oh fuck yeah, it is. It is the best swerve, and they've got dirt sheet guys fucking saying, "Oh yes, it happened. Oh yes, it happened," and then it was like, "Nope, we just swerved all of you motherfuckers."
Oh, and check
And
this
I'm
out.
like,
If it is the case too, AEW backed WWE into a corner where
"How
they
so?"
knew that they had to use this to their advantage,
Right.
even though they know Cody's not coming over, but they knew that it would draw ratings to Mania. So if this is the case and it is a work by AEW, they did such a good job that even WWE wasn't gonna fucking shit the bed with it because they knew they could get something out of it. You
Right.
know, unfortunately, I think it probably just is what it is. You know, but Vince is a businessman, so he could be like, well, you know what, fuck it. If they're gonna keep acting like Cody's gonna come, we'll act like he's coming.
Right.
Fucking add that, you know. But man, it's gonna be disappointing as shit. Like whoever comes out, if it's not Cody, it's gonna get the shit booed out of him probably.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Most definitely.
This new
I love
fucking character of Rollins is weird too, man.
yeah, the Seth freaking Rollins. He's that little weasel laugh he's got going on is it's
Yeah,
bizarre.
it's a little weird.
It
It's very
reminds me of like a movie bad guy, like a shitty '90s movie bad guy.
I think that's what he's going for, kind of.
Like the like the Home Alone Part 4, where it's like it went straight to VHS, like that bad guy. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
not even like a Batman villain, like a
Yeah,
fucking
exactly. Yeah, he's not a comic book character. You're a shitty like C9, like B movie, but like C movie 90, C '90s movie.
All right, there's an AEW. I'm looking through some shit right now. Somebody's got a knee injury. Who's got a knee injury in AEW?
Uh, Anthony Bowens.
Oh, is it in his Bowens? Is it
Yeah, I
in
think it's Bowens.
Bowen?
I think he's still not cleared to come back.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah, I saw that earlier today.
Oh, he's from the Acclaimed.
Yeah.
Oh man, is he gonna be cleared
But
soon?
well, no, I mean, he comes out and does the run around the ring with Max, but I don't think he's cleared to wrestle. So he's still like been on TV. Like Max wrestled Punk last night. I didn't end up watching Dynamite last night because I was running around doing all this family shit. So I didn't like. Oh yeah, I texted you. I didn't even end up watching the 8 o'clock feed because I had to get up at 4:45 and didn't feel like watching from 8 to 10.
You didn't miss much. I watched it and it was pretty lackluster,
And it
man.
was it Max Caster and Punk.
But yeah, it was Mac. I
Yeah,
can't
yeah,
even
yeah.
remember what happened. To be honest, I watched it, but
Punk won and basically said, "Oh, now I'm going to go for the world title."
yeah, that's exactly what happened. Actually, no, but they still are doing shit with Hangman and Adam Cole. So
Right,
I don't
right.
know how they're gonna play that out. That's another thing, man. It's just not interesting to me, man. How did they shit the fucking bed with fucking the Undisputed Era? You know, it's just like I feel like you can blame the Young Bucks putting their fucking goddamn paws on that shit. You know, like I don't
That
know.
could be that could be that could be just weird booking that Tony thought was going to take off and it really hasn't taken off.
Yeah, dude. There's a lot of that, unfortunately, with like good talent. Like
And that's
I think
that's
it
the
kind of
shitty part about
shows. To be fair, I think it kind of shows the inexperience in A.
exactly. That's exactly what I was about to say. Like he's been a booker for 3 years.
That's where Triple H fucking rocked NXT over them. You know, like he could take a guy like Adam Cole and make him a star and then they sent him over there good to go as a star.
Right.
Um, could have gave him the fucking belt, probably, man. They could have had him beat fucking whoever, and he would have fucking been a great champion if Hunter Hearst Helmsley was booking him.
Right.
You know, but for whatever reason, he can't get those people over, man. Fuck. It would be great to see fucking Triple H fucking come work for AEW. I
Yeah,
know
that
it'll
ain't happening.
never happen, ever. It'll never, ever, ever happen. I know, but God,
Unless I think the only way it happens is if him and Stephanie get divorced. That's the
yeah,
only way it ever happens.
and he's
If
not.
if he's if he's still if he's still Paul Lavoisier or whatever the fuck his name is, you know, married to Stephanie McMahon, then he's never coming over.
I guess. I guess Vince McMahon and Linda McMahon haven't been together for a long time. Have you heard
Oh,
that?
really?
Yeah, they
Uh,
don't even live in the same house. They've been like separated for years, but they just don't ever announce it because they're like, will fuck her political career up and he just doesn't give a shit. You know, like I don't necessarily think they're on bad terms, but they're just like so
just
not
operating
connected.
two separate lives or whatever.
Yeah, they just are so undisconnected, you
Yeah.
know. And but I'm not sure like I wonder like how much of this is like passing down to Triple H and Stephanie
And
because
Steph, yeah, right.
Stephanie's kind of going in that direction too. She's a part of a new board and she's kind of starting to look at outside entities
hmm
outside of WWE. It's almost like they're preparing for a sale or something.
You've been saying that for a year and a half now.
Yeah, probably closer to 2 or 3.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
remember. I remember me and Owen talking about this. Owen was the one that said he thought they'd sell to Disney.
Oh, so
Um,
that was even further ago than 3 years.
it's been a while, man. So
Because Owen passed what
20,
5 years ago?
2015, 2015, so
Oh,
7 years ago.
7 years ago. Holy shit! I didn't realize it had been that long.
Yeah, man. So
Wow.
I'm looking at the flyer from Ruckus right now that he was on that he didn't make.
I was like, he didn't pass away in 2018 because that's what hoodie I'm wearing.
Yeah, no, 2015 was the second Ruckus.
Yeah.
And he'd already canceled before he passed, anyways, because we couldn't afford to get him out here. And
Uh-huh.
essentially, I was like, I can't afford to pay your fucking plane ticket, man. We got too much shit going on. So,
Right. Where was he from? Ohio?
Wisconsin.
Wisconsin, that's it.
And he said, he was going to come out. He could have rolled the dice and possibly sold enough merch and shit. But he was like, I don't know. He had all these plans. Like, you want to bring his whole band. I'm like, just don't.
Yeah, right.
It's not worth it, dude, unless you're going to book a tour out here. It's not.
Yeah, if you're just coming for a one-off, it's financially not going to be beneficial.
Yeah.
I get that.
He probably would have socked fucking Leroy Virgin on the face for me, though. That would have been cool. But yeah, man, I don't know. I mean, I AEW comes in waves, man. Also,
it definitely does.
We're a bit far away from a pay-per-view, I think. So
we don't have anything till Double or Nothing in May.
So we're definitely in a stale time.
Yeah, right. They got time to build something.
No, they should start now because I guess May is a little closer than fucking.
It's the tail end of May, so this was basically 2 months.
Mm-hmm.
It's that Labor Day weekend or whatever the hell it is.
Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah, Memorial Day. I'm sorry. Yeah, wrong one.
Well, they should start building now, though. Which is probably what they're doing. I imagine they're probably trying to close the feud with Cole and open the one with fucking Punk. And they should probably let fucking Punk have the goddamn belt for a while.
Kenny should be coming back from injury, hopefully within the next, maybe around Double or Nothing time.
I heard they fucking opened him back up to give him another surgery.
Oh, really? I didn't see that.
I thought so. I could be wrong, but I heard he's kind of fucked up.
Yeah, I knew he had a lot of stuff going on.
But yeah, I mean, I think even though some of the feuds Kenny was in were kind of lackluster, I think he was probably the best champion that they've had. Jericho did a good job for a minute, but I think Kenny was really the most relevant, like believable asshole champion. And but I think Punk, man, they should just give it to Punk or Daniel,
I don't think they'll give it to DB while they're doing this Blackpool Combat Club thing.
Nah. Which for me, if they want to really make that shit, I just remembered who it was that did that contract thing. Remind me in a second. But if they want to make it really relevant, they would. I think give either him or Mox the belt. But it was Samoa Joe. I'm pretty sure that's who we were thinking of earlier that did the whole contract. Like,
yep.
But they let him go again.
Yep.
So he might pop up. It'd be cool to see him in fucking Punk feud a bit because I don't know, Samoa might be at the ass end of his stuff. He keeps getting injured, and I think that's part of their problem. But
maybe they signed Joe to a secret contract, and he's going to wrestle Seth at WrestleMania.
Yeah, maybe. I doubt it. It's probably Cody.
Yeah, there probably is. Well, you got anything else?
No, man. We probably rambled on about stupid shit long enough.
Yeah, we did get off our WrestleMania show that we only talked about WrestleMania for 30 minutes. For the other 2 hours bullshitting about other stuff.
Yeah.
But it makes for an entertaining talk, not having to strict guidelines. We just kind of go off on a fucking rant for a while and be like, oh wait, we need to circle back.
Well, if we would have done just a WrestleMania show, it would have been the most boring fucking show we've ever done because I
probably would have talked about Ring of Honor, Supercard of Honor more than anything if I had the chance.
Oh yeah, we didn't really talk about it too much, did we?
No, which is not a big deal because I kind of want to see what this AEW pay-per-view with Ring of Honor is what's gonna come from it, because we only got like 5 matches.
Well, we can do a double header too, since we got the end of Mania, so I'm sure something will happen Monday,
right?
And then we got the
so we'll double dip and we'll get back on next week at some point and
Yeah, maybe we'll hit up
go
next
from there.
weekend after everything's settled down, because
Yeah, right.
that was when I thought we were going to start doing them. But I'm good
Yeah.
whenever right now,
Yeah.
But
You're not
once
doing a
I get
whole
back to
lot.
work, we're probably gonna have to stick to like a Saturday night, every other Saturday night or something to record. And the cool thing about these is this is one of the most easy ones to edit. So I can throw these together in like an hour, so I can have them up by
Good.
the next day. So it's not a bunch of bullshit in it. So all right, buddy. Well, is there anything else you want to add?
Nope, I think we're golden, brother. We'll
All right.
see what transpires this weekend and Monday. And
Are you gonna watch
get,
Mania?
Saturday. I'm gonna try to watch what I can, but I will have cheer competition on Saturday, so I probably won't see a whole hell of a lot. But I'll end up watching Sunday. And I've
Honestly, I'm probably
already asked the wife if I can order a Super Card of Honor Friday night. And she already gave me the thumbs up. So
If I wasn't hurt, I'd fucking come watch it with you.
like I said, I could just make that 4-hour drive over to my house.
Yeah, with my knee fucking all fucked up. Yeah, I get a month off work and I can't do shit. How fucking frustrating is that?
Is
Like,
it giving you a severance thing or?
oh no, I'm getting paid. I got enough
Okay.
vacation time, but I mean, I can't do anything. Right now, I can't
Yeah,
drive.
I get you.
I could probably
And
I could probably do it in like a week, maybe two. Definitely two.
that doesn't do us any good for WrestleMania.
I know, man. It's all shit. There's like shows, like there's wrestling shows, like Defy's gonna be in fucking Tri-Cities like next week, and I'm gonna be too hurt and broke to go.
Right.
It's all this shit, man. There's like good concerts
Right.
and stuff. So, but yeah, I promised myself once this shit's done, I'm gonna start making an attempt to do more active things and just get out there more and kind of. I don't know. I'm really loving the podcast shit, man. I'll hit pause real quick and just send everybody out. So that's the end of this show. Bye, guys.